What's up, folks? Welcome back to the stream. We're live with the T5S2 Invitational semifinals, the last game of the Invitational before we graduate to the grand finals, and we will determine who plays against Zach and his Eldari Wraith Knight to determine the best virtual 40k player in the world for this season of the T5S2 series. Thank you so much, everybody in the chat, for coming and watching along with me. I'm even here with my noisy co-commentator, who may make an appearance in this stream. But I want to throw about, before we jump into the game, a big thanks to all of the event sponsors for this season. Delta Studios, you can use coupon code TT or Tactical10 over there to get 10% off your very own bolt gun or chainsword, which is super sick. Gamemat.eu, you can use coupon code TT10 to get 10% off your selection of mats and terrain. Battle mats, double-sided, glorious full-color neoprene with fully painted resin terrain to go on top of it. It's absolutely amazing. Go check them out at Gamemat.eu. The Magnet Baron, you can find them at themagnetbaron.com. They make all manner of magnetization kits for Warhammer, excuse me, and other miniature war games. And last but certainly not least, 3D6 Wargaming that gives us our gorgeous objective mats every season for T5S2. Thank you so much to all those sponsors for supporting the show this season, and thank you everybody for coming and joining. We have over here in the red Raze667 playing his beloved Necrons. Raze has had an absolute stellar showing this season in his invitational games, being able to pull out a ton of really tough matchups and playing a superlative game with the Necrons. Versus over here in the blue, our T5S2 Season 5 champion coming back to reclaim his title. It is a slightly disappointing Salad, this time throwing his Chaos Space Marines in the dumpster. We are playing the Adeptus Custodes today. Salad trying to use his mastery of the fight phase to get the leg up in objective control and push his opponent off the center point of the table. We're going to focus that camera. Thank everybody for coming and watching. We're on Entropic Fields today, playing some priority targets. So these players are going to be able to score 5 victory points per turn, up to 10 for each objective marker they control, and then those will be scored again at the end of the game. So there's no bottom round 5 scoring, but the player going second will be able to potentially push their opponent off their objectives and score themselves a nice big chunk of additional victory points at the end. The player going first, obviously, if they are pushing their opponent's stuff right in, then they will be able to get a nice payday for themselves as well. Both players rocking tactical secondary objectives today, so we're going to be drawing from the objective deck. Raze did play fixed secondaries in the majority of his games previously in the Invitational so far. So a little bit of a mix-up here, playing tacticals, but Salad over here on Adeptus Custodes, obviously a faction that does play pretty well into tactical objectives, with the Alarius Custodians able to jump around the table, pick themselves up, and redeploy and respond to whatever tactical missions that they draw.
I'm not going to lie, I was very happy not to see it, because those models are stupid.
Let's go through the list real quick here as the players are completing their deployment. Talk about Raze's Necron list real quick. This is a list running 2 big bricks of, 1 big brick of Lich Guard. So we have a 10 model Lich Guard squad. Looks like they are just about to be placed in the center position of Raze's deployment zone right here. These guys are absolutely ludicrously difficult to kill. They do have a 4+ invulnerable save granted by Orican the Diviner. Then they also have 2 Cryptothralls in there that are going to have a 4+ Feel No Pain. Those guys can then be regenerated after taking that damage. So they're going to basically ignore half the damage they take. They're going to die. We're going to use Protocol of the Undying Legions to then bring them back in response to an attack. And then they're going to be able to use that damage mitigation once again. And then we have an Overlord with the Resurrection Orb and the Hyper Material Ablator in order to give these guys stealth and potentially cover as well. So it could be a 2+ save if we are benefiting from cover, a 4+ invulnerable save with -1 to be hit, a 4+ Feel No Pain until the Cryptothralls die, but that does take a little bit of a while to do because you usually have to kill them twice before you can start doing damage to the actual Lich Guard, and once they get stuck in, they do have devastating wounds with those big war scythes. And as we've seen in Raze's games previously, that actually does do a significant amount of damage. We have, backing that up, 2 units of Necron Immortals. Raze mostly just using these guys to lock down objectives and to be an extremely difficult to kill bulwark on his backline objectives. They are toughness 5, which is going to be a huge breakpoint in this game, specifically against all of the low-strength Custodes shooting. I know the players were talking before the game with each other about how difficult these units were going to be to remove for Custodian Guard. They are rocking an AP1 two-shot ranged weapon on most of the Custodian Guard over here, but that is going to have a tough time getting through the high toughness value and saves of the Immortals. And if you don't kill the unit, of course, they are going to start reanimating with this Canoptic Reanimator sitting right next to them, bringing 2d3 back every single battle round. We have 2 units of 6 Tomb Blades with Particle Beamers, so throwing a huge volume of attacks with a fast scout move and a ton of utility. We have 3 units of Locust Heavy Destroyers, 2 units of 3, and as well as a normal destroyer unit being attached to a Locust Lord, I believe. Oh, no, we're just striking the Locust Destroyers. Excuse me, chat. Plus, oh, no, we do have the Locust Lord. I don't know why I second-guessed myself there. Yeah, so we have a unit of Locust Destroyers with the Locust Lord, plus the 2 units of 3 Locust Heavy Destroyers, and a Veil of Darkness on that Locust Lord in order to teleport him around the table. Last but certainly not least, we have a couple of Scarab Swarms in the back and a Transcendent Catan. So, looks like the roll to go first just went down here. Raze taking the first turn, drawing and investigate signals and capture enemy outpost. That's an unfortunate draw for Necrons on this first turn. Capture enemy outpost. Unfortunately,
these are fucking awful.
I don't know if you can hear that in the background chat. Raze667 crying his pulls from this first turn here. Obviously, he's going to have to get across the table and grab the objective marker in his opponent's deployment zone. This is a huge addition of variance to the game. Capture enemy outpost can be a huge boon in the late game when both armies are sort of fighting around the middle of the table. You can make a big push to get to your opponent's deployment zone and try to grab that. And unfortunately, drawing it on the first turn, it is impossible to do that right now. So that is going to be a bad draw for Raze. We also have investigate signals that he can perform an action in the table corners in order to complete. That's actually, I think you would prefer that be a later pull, but right now, once your opponent isn't screening quite as heavily and preventing units from coming in those table quarters. But in this situation, it's actually not that bad because Raze is well set up to perform it. He just has to get his units wholly within 9 inches of these table corners right here, and we do have a unit of Scarab Swarms already in position in the back, and we have a Transcendent Catan who's mostly just going to be hopping around the table doing actions to do it in this side as well. So that's an easy pickup for 4 points for the Necrons. But that is basically all that we are going to be grabbing for them right now. I think a little bit of a miss sequence on our scouts, it looks like. You technically do have to perform those scout moves before the first turn tactical objectives get drawn, but it looks like we're not really going to be using that to change the positioning here. I wonder almost if one of those scout units will have pushed backwards in order to complete that secondary, that investigate signals, instead of going forwards, if we had known about that. Yeah, so Scarab Swarms pulling back to complete the action as well. And mostly going to set up a pretty defensive position here for Raze. We could potentially see a hyper extension with the Veil of Darkness, but it doesn't look like we're going to be doing that. Do have to worry a little bit about the Gladius Grav Tank, or the Caladius Grav Tank, excuse me, shooting its laser destroyers downrange at the, where its big Arachnus Blaze cannons at the heavy destroyers. You could lose those guys pretty quickly, but I think we're hoping maybe he only kills one, and the other one can potentially reanimate it, if it's not too much damage. Looks like we are getting both units in line of sight of that Grav Tank. Oh, actually, that might be a mistake on Salad's part. Yikes. That is, yeah, that's a fairly clean line of sight there. No reason to give that up, really. I think that Salad maybe aggressively deployed his Grav Tank here. It could potentially lose it. Those Locust Heavy Destroyers are they're not messing around on their anti-tank weapon, and Raze actually elected not to change his list between the round of 8 and the round of 4 here, so He was previously running all anti-tank weapons, I think, and anticipating a very heavily armored meta game within the top 16 of the T5S2 Invitational, and elected not to take any Enmitic Annihilators on the Destroyers, so only taking the Heavy Gauss Destructor. So that's a very, very strong anti-tank weapon, which in Raze's last game against Ash C and her Gene Stealer Call would have been a huge boon to take that rapid-fire gun, but didn't end up having it in his toolbox and didn't switch it out, expecting to see some heavy armor in the top 4 as well. So we do have a ton of anti-tank potentially going in on that Calidius Graph tank. That could be potentially a big loss for the Custodes on the first turn. Now, those Calidius aren't the most useful units in this matchup right now, but you certainly don't want to lose the ability to screen. This is a big sort of hefty model here that can eat a lot of table space from Deep Strikers, especially this Transcendent Catan that's going to be teleporting around the table. And the ability to pick up multi-model or multi-wound units like the Destroyers themselves is a big loss if that guy goes down. Well, as we're looking through the remainder of the Necron movement phase, we'll take a look at Salad's list. He is running Trajan Valoris, as well as a Shield Captain in Alaris Terminator armor with the Veiled Blade, so he can triple his objective control ability once per game and has a couple extra attacks to boot. A Blade Champion with Ceaseless Hunter, so he's going to be able to make a reactive move once per game, alongside 5 Alaris Custodians for that Shield Captain Custodian to attach to. He does have a Rites of Battle effect, so he's able to give the use of free stratagems once per battle round. And that is a pretty big deal for the Terminators because it unlocks use of a free damage reduction on that unit, which is enormous. So you can use what is normally a 2CP strat for free on them to make them significantly harder to kill. We have 2 units of 2, just basic Alaris Custodians with Guardian Spears, a unit of 6 Custodian Wardens with a Vexillus, a unit of 5 Custodian Guard, those 2 Calidius Grav tanks, as well as an Exaction Squad, these little Arbites just hanging out in the back here, and just doing some backline screening. They do have assault weapons, so they're an incredible utility unit. Taking a look at what we have deployed, looks like we do have the Shield Captain in Alaris Terminator armor attached to the Alaris Custodians. Looks like the normal formulation that we've seen Salad adopt in the past is still remaining the case. A Blade Champion attached to the Custodian Guard. He's going to give them a once per game ability to boost their speed with advancing and shooting, alongside Trajan Valoris with the Custodian Wardens. They are a little bit more defensively oriented, so they can stack a lot of defensive effects once they're on objectives to make them extremely hard to interact with. And Trajan himself hits really hard. He's an incredible defensive piece and has a strong attack. So while they aren't as offensively oriented as the other types of Custodians, because they don't have any rerolls to their attack rolls available, the presence of Trajan can make them hit relatively sort of similar because he himself brings so much of a powerhouse. Looks like we are just throwing Immortals up the table, keeping a couple of them back behind cover here. And again, just anticipating that these Custodians aren't going to be able to wholly kill the Immortal squads. And that will allow the Immortals to creep and crawl themselves slowly onto objectives. We then have 1 Tomb Blade touching the middle objective as well. Okay, so it looks like we are shooting into the Calidius Grav tank. We'll go ahead and throw it back to the players here while they resolve those attacks.
Good. 3 more shots. That sucks for me.
Ooh, looks like 1 unit whiffed.
3s. Fucking great. Go ahead and roll.
Is that 1 wound?
Take 6.
Oh, geez. All right, well.
Yup. End of the turn.
That is unfortunate. So 6 heavy Gauss Destructor shots into the Calidius Grav tank. That 2+ high toughness, 2+ save is just sticking through, and Raze's Dice looks like not agreeing with him right there. So it is going to be hanging out for a while. And that is... Looks like we discarded Capture Enemy Outpost for a command point. That should be Investigate Signals completed.
Capture Enemy Outpost.
I don't know, I'd rather keep that one. Deployment zone. What does it look like? All right, not getting.
So behind enemy lines and no prisoners drawn for Salad. He does not have his small units of Alaris Custodians on the table. So one thing that Alaris Custodians can do, which can catch some people off guard, is that they, at your opponent's reinforcement step, they can elect to enter Deep Strike. They can be teleported back up to their cruiser and then drop back down in your next reinforcement step. So even if they start the game on the table, what they can potentially do is hop up into Deep Strike after the first turn is completed, and then jump back down in the top of the second turn. So if you are going second as a Custodian player, you can basically turn one Deep Strike. That pull for behind enemy lines on the first turn here for the Custodes is an unfortunate card to draw in this board state, because they don't have any of those Custodians that can jump down into the Necron deployment zone. Looks like the Necrons are screening out very effectively. I don't know if there's any space down here, but even so, there's nothing in the Custodian armor that can drop in there right now. And you don't often, especially with the unit with the captain on board, you don't often want to declare that Deep Strike too early. Because, again, I mean, Raze's screening here is very effective. He has his Tomb Blades, which are an expendable unit. He's not too worried about losing out in front. If any units were to drop in on those, they would just sort of be stuck behind the Tomb Blades. And then that just opens them up to get killed by Locust Heavy Destroyers. So not a great drop for those Custodians. The other thing is that most of Raze's units, and this is a little idiosyncratic for a Necron army, and it's not something we see very often, a lot of Raze's units do not have characters attached. And the Alaris Custodian's ability to get rerolls against character, monster, or vehicle units then turns off, because only a couple of Raze's units are even monsters or vehicles. That would be, I think, specifically the Canoptic Reanimator, this guy behind the wall, and the Catan Shard, the Transcendent Catan here, fit that description. But other than that, the only units with characters attached to them, I believe, are the Lich Guard and the Locust Destroyers. So the Alaris Custodians are actually not super useful this game. And Salad wouldn't have his pick of engagements, effectively. Players in semis were allowed to change their list, chat. Yeah, because we had the FAQ between the quarterfinals and semifinals, players were allowed to resubmit. Most of them made very slight changes, largely to compensate for the FAQs. So we saw things like Wraithguard be removed from players' lists. I think Salad made a very, very slight change to his list. I think the Exaction Squad was an addition. But for the most part, it was not enormous changes. Yeah, the Eldar players mostly stick with their list. They just took out some units that had been nerfed. And Raze elected not to change his list. Salad changed it very, very, very small. Very little. So it didn't end up being a huge difference. Damned Legion in chat, thank you so much for jumping in. Hope you're having a good one. Hope you're having a good weekend down there. Hope everyone got to play some games today, this weekend. I just got back from a tournament, actually. The stream was a couple minutes delayed because my tournament ran long, but I was able to get out early and get on the stream not too far off of schedule, which was good, but had a good time playing some Tyranids. Looks like we're deciding our game plan here. Getting the Blade Champion up into the middle. This guy can use his once per game ability to declare a charge after advancing. And might have a decent charge into the Tomb Blades. The downside of these Custodian Guard, as we've seen time and time again, is that this unit, once it's committed, it just falls apart super quickly. These guys love getting shot to death and dying. Especially once we see these Locust Destroyers start to go down. They have a decent AP lethal hitting weapon that lethal hits on 5s. So the high toughness of the Custodians isn't going to help them that much against the against the Locust Destroyers. And if they're able to get a clean line of sight into the Custodian Guard squad, that's going to be disgusting.
Nope, seemed fine there.
What's 48 inches to this guy? Right there.
I can give you 48. Where's 48?
1 rotation, 2 rotation, 1.5 inches.
So you move 12 or 10?
I moved 10 base, so I have 1.5 inches left.
You should have no inches of movement left because you just rotated for 1.5 inches twice, right?
It's 1.5 inches for 2 rotations.
Is it? So let me measure that. Point here, rotate. It is 1.5 inches for 1 rotation. Yep. You are a very big boy. Here. Rotate. 1.5 inches. Yep. So you do not have quite enough if you rotate twice.
Well,
Yeah, looks like you're just out.
Well, I can take a better angle. So if I go back,
Yeah,
7 inches.
Just determining our lines of sight between the Cladius grav tanks and the Locust heavies.
So you'll have 0.2
Undamaged Caladius, by the way. It took 6 wounds, but is not in its damaged state quite yet. And it looks like both of them could potentially get a beat on the Locust Heavy Destroyers, and that could be disastrous for them. If we see a good conversion from those Arachnus Beam Cannons, that will be the end of those 2 Locust units. A little bit dicey, but I think for sure we'll see 1 unit get removed to the 2 Caladius Grav Tanks shooting at them.
It does an average of 12 wounds, usually, on average.
To the tank?
Yes.
What?
I lethal on 5+, rerolling 1s to hit. And then I wound on 6s with full rerolls to wound. Usually which converts about 12 wounds.
I mean, I still save on 3s.
AP2, I mean, assuming you have cover, yeah, you'll save on 3s.
Damned Legion, I appreciate you coming and watching me. Sounds like hard work on that commission. Hope it's doing well. Is this the same army that you were posting in the Discord earlier this week?
No, if he shoots at the non-blue unit, which is the only unit in range of this tank, I won't have cover.
Exactly, which is truly...
If he shoots first, I can pull the only model that's in range.
Exactly.
And if this one shoots first, I can have cover.
Touch the train. The Wardens will roll in... The Terminators will roll in advance.
Mm-hmm. Is that the 2-man? Or the big?
Yeah, the big unit already went.
Okay.
Where's the 2-man? Let's go 11.
Well, 2 6-inch advances. That's pretty good. Pretty good.
I rolled 2 1s and 2 6s for advances, so it's kind of equaled out in some minor respects.
You might want to fix them. They're a little elevated. Yeah, there you go.
Beautifully. Actually, we're gonna put the guy in the corner because he had movement.
Yep. You only went about 10.
That guy, you can chill there. The Wardens will roll something. Roll a dice. The number. If I load, what happens? I hit -1 damage. You shoot me in the open.
Mm-hmm.
All of which I do not enjoy. Kind of wanted a higher roll, but I need to save the command points.
Yeah, unfortunate advance roll from the Wardens there. They can advance and shoot because they have assault weapons on their profile, but unfortunately for Salad, without a Blade Champion attached to the unit, they can't advance and charge. And what they really want to be doing, this is part of the just roll 4+ strategy of the Adeptus Custodes, is that they want to get to a center objective on the first turn and threaten control of it. And then with their stacked layers of defensive effects, they can score it on the bottom of the first turn. So they have a once per game 4+ penal pain that they can sort of expose themselves to then commit with. And they have a -1 to wound effect for high strength attacks as long as they have an attached character. Plus, if you charge them, Trajan can use his Moment Shackle to fight first. So it's extremely difficult to engage with that unit. So it looks like we're actually just going to be leaving that unit down back behind here. One of the reasons that Salad's not too worried about engaging super quickly in this matchup is that this mission is actually very passive. Because the players will score at the end of the turn, they are, or at the end of the game, excuse me, they have the opportunity to make back any deficits they have early on their on their primary scoring. So it looks like we're probably going to be trying to get these Tomb Blades to score the center objective for Raze. So he's going to be getting a nice 10-point turn, probably forcing the Custodes into a 5-point turn. But again, the Custodes won't take any casualties for that, and then they can push up next turn and really commit their entire army alongside all their Lars Custodian units. Looks like one Locust Heavy Destroyer down to the Caladius shooting.
Roll a 5 up. Nope. Own roll damage. All right, he lives on 1.
You don't want to command point that? That's a good question for me.
Sure. Feel free to upgrade it.
CP to kill a destroyer, yeah.
You'll go down to 1.
3.
You are at 2.
There's a Nurgle in chat. How's it going? We were just commenting how it chat just felt empty without you, buddy.
You probably make one of these upcoming.
Yeah, never
Fair.
never underestimate my ability to roll shit on dice.
I can use 4 command points for what next turn? I don't need 4 command points next turn, so we can spend 1.
Okay.
Get in the box. There you
Kill
go.
another one. And then do I roll a 5 up? I was not actually expecting you to convert all of them. I was expecting you to fail one. Save the last 2. I will spend 1 CP to reanimate.
All right, so going to use Protocol of the Undying Legions here to get that second Locust Heavy Destroyer back. Very nice. And actually pull that unit out of range, it looks like, of the second Caladius's smaller guns.
That's good. We're just going to...
So now it has to convert all, at least 2 shots on the Locust Destroyers, and it doesn't look like Raze's command point rerolled so far. So he would actually be able to potentially keep that unit alive if he has a single 5-up save to make.
I'll hit.
Yeah.
No, and
cool. You rolled 16 dice and didn't roll a single
wounds. It's okay.
5-ups. Oh,
it is, to be fair, not very common that we see the Caladius actually hit every time. That guy usually misses at least 1 shot. And I believe that looks like the entire unit killed exactly. Only 1 Locust Heavy Destroyer unit removed at this point, though, which is not too bad. Jazzy Engineer, thank you so much for the kind words. I appreciate you coming and visiting. Glad the videos are working out for you. And I hope you have a good time with your first game. Welcome to the community. And I hope you have a great game. Which faction are you playing, by the way, Jazzy Engineer?
It would be nice. Lich Guard, mess my day up, probably. Well, I could do some funky stuff.
Now, on top of that, we also have no prisoners as the other primary objective or secondary mission poll, excuse me, for the Adeptus Custodes. So that's going to score them points simply for destroying enemy units. Now, oftentimes, that's another objective that's very good in the middle of the game. There are objectives that are good in the early game. They usually involved holding the center objectives where you can just run your small units like these Tomb Blades into those objectives and then grab them on the first turn. No prisoners is good a little bit later because it could score you more points if you destroy more units in 1 turn. But at the very least, slightly disappointing Salad is going to be scoring it for 1 trigger, which is 2 victory points, which gets it out of his hand. It means he doesn't have to keep it, and means that he is on the scoreboard. Now, do we charge here? Oh, this is aggressive. Holy crap. Okay. So the Blade Champions unit is going to be going in for it. So we may get another pickup of a kill here if the Blade Champion doesn't whiff on these Tomb Blades. So going to be going to try to... Did we determine that we could not base contact that guy? That looks a little bit...
You have to not move him first. You have to move another model before you move him.
I'm just
because he can base.
This guy's going to move to where you could base.
No, he has to base, so he's going to be a little right.
Yeah. This guy's base.
More. That is not. They have bases. You have to keep going.
Oh, their bases are tiny. What is this?
They do have bases. They are flight stand.
Yeah, that is the Tomb Blade way. They have a little tiny bitty baby base underneath that big, huge, weird biker looking thing. The terrifying arcane technology of the Necrons. So the new charge rules in 10th edition 40k, if you roll a high enough charge to get a model into base contact, then you must do so. So the Custodian Guard here rolled high enough to get to base with this Tomb Blade, but what Salad wants to do, it looks like, is get himself onto this objective with the Blade Champion to make it... once the Custodians are on an objective, they can use their stratagem, Unwavering Sentinels, I believe it's called, to fight first against enemy chargers that are attacking them. And that means that charging them super difficult to do. So it looks like we're going to be able to do that. I don't know if these models in the center here are going to be able to actually attack because they still have to be within an inch of an enemy. But 3 or 4 Custodians, depending on who gets in there, will probably be enough to kill these Tomb Blades. It's so many attacks and Martial Kata buffs.
Exploding 6s.
Oh, so that's the damage 1 version. Okay. So hitting on 3s,
Well, I'm using the
4.
flat 3 damage. I'm using flat 3 damage because that's
that does not. Oh, so okay. So you're hitting on
Victus.
5 attacks, hitting on 2s, winning on 3s. Or hitting on 3s, winning on 3s.
Yeah, rerolling wounds. So,
so 3 misses.
3 hits because of the 6.
Mm-hmm.
3 mortals
minus
and
3.
2 saves.
He has devastating wounds on the 3 damage one.
He does.
Okay, he does. So these are 5s. I say 1. So you kill 2 bikes, and I take a wound.
Yeah.
1, 2, and this bike takes a wound.
The guys.
So you get 15 more attacks.
15 more attacks indeed.
Mm-hmm. On 3s.
That was awful.
Yep. And then wounding on 3s. They reroll to wound because you control.
I'm
you don't
on an objective. Oh, I don't.
You don't control the objective. So this 4 is gone too. So
I do
these
roll 1s to wound, and there was 2 1s. So
do you reroll 1?
Oh, there's 1 1. 1 1.
Okay, so go ahead and roll a die.
I'll roll 1 more die.
Yep. That's good.
There you go.
Saving on 5s.
Yeah, so no full rerolls on the Custodian Guard there because they have to control the objective in order to turn on their reroll ability. But they don't have a Vexillus in the unit, so they are only OC2, which is the same objective control characteristic as the Tomb Blades.
I certainly would like to roll average on my dice. Save.
Well, I would like to roll average on my hit dice personally.
Is it still 1 inch to get into engagement range when charging? It is. Yep. Yeah, if you don't roll high enough to get into into base-to-base contact with an enemy, then you will you move to get to engagement range, or you move to get closer, and then you can fight when you get within an inch of an enemy. You actually technically don't have to get into engagement range if you don't have enough movement to base contact. You can move to just outside engagement range, but you still have to pile into engagement range, which is 1 inch, in order to fight someone when it comes to the fight phase. So going towards the objective now, when they consolidate because they can't engage a new enemy unit because they're too far away from the Locust Destroyers, then they go back towards the objective.
Do we have to pound that way? This guy can pound this way though. What's happening?
Not sure what we're measuring here. Oh, we have to check which objective marker they're closest to. Oh, this is a good call out by Raze, actually. Yeah, I think that Salad was anticipating pulling his unit back behind this wall, but actually some of them will have to go towards the other objective marker because the unit is strung so far. Probably about 9 inches of string between them. Yep, almost exactly. That's awkward. Well, these guys are going to be out in the open here. Still mostly behind cover, so this unit's going to be tough for the Necrons to eliminate. And because they're touching the objective, they will be able to
so I'm going to draw 2 new cards.
Fight first if they're charged. So this Lich Guard unit doesn't really want to go and fight them because they're going to just lose additional models. They don't really need to.
So we're going to remain stationary.
All right, so Ray's pulling his cards now. No prisoners is the first score. Storm Hostile Objective is the second one. We do have a couple potential candidates for no prisoners. Obviously, we could potentially kill this unit in the center. The Blade Champion also could go down, but it looks unlikely. Maybe to the Lich Guard unit if they decide to commit. And on top of that, we also have the Caladius Grav Tank with the 3 Locust Heavy Destroyers shooting at it. Could be taken down. Now, we did see the Alaris Custodians actually do pull up into deep strike and looks like dropped back down inside this building in front of the Caladius. So it is going to be protected from a Locust Destroyer redeploy. So if they decided to use Veil of Darkness from the Locust Lord, they would not be in range because they have to stay 9 inches away from enemy models to shoot at the Caladius Graph Tank. Their weapons are relatively tough. All right, so moved the Tomb Blades up to the center here. That actually did trigger a Ceaseless Hunter move.
Sorry, you're beginning a movement
on the
I can't overwatch on my own turn.
Yeah. This, triggering a Ceaseless Hunter move on the Blade Champion. I think a mistake from Raze, actually. Maybe he forgot about that Ceaseless Hunter reactive move. And he's just going to be able to escape with these guys. Yeah, well, fortunately, Raze didn't move too much stuff, so he's not caught out here, but that is basically losing a Tomb Blade unit for free. You have to keep that in mind. It is a kind of a weird ability for Custodians to have, to be fair. The worst thing that Raze could have done here, though, is trigger that ability with the Lich Guard by committing the Lich Guard and then getting hit by the Blade Champion. Because the Blade Champion can go in, try to duel the characters, and this unit has a high enough volume of attacks that it will do a significant amount of damage to the Lich Guard. I don't know if it'll kill them, but it does come close, especially if Oracan goes down at some point. Although that guy is difficult to dirt.
Are you satisfied with that movement?
But let's move farther away. Other movement. So these guys can move up to 7, right?
I can.
They can move kind of up to the airish. Kind of this general spot, so I'm pretty safe from that. Those shots. Will come just like these.
Chad, I have a video about the fight phase, so if anything about the fight phase description that I saw earlier with all that combat movement with piling in and consolidating is surprising to you, you can go watch that. I have a video about charging and fighting and how that works. It is very different in this edition than it was in past editions.
So they're stuck on their 6-inch plus charge. So this unit of destroyers is just going to pull back. What kind of charge do I want to give you? 6-inch plus charge. We'll say a 9.
The pile-in has to go towards the closest enemy model, so I think it would have been tough to get more models into the center objective with the pile-in, because they were outside an inch of the models here, which would have meant they would try to get in but get stuck by the walls, basically. So it looks like the Locust Destroyers are going to be moving away from the Blade Champion. The Blade Champion did use its once per game ability to charge after advancing, so it's not going to be able to do that again. Now, the Tomb Blades have kind of given themselves up, and I'm a little bit worried for Raze here, although this will score him Storm Hostile Objective, because the objective in the center was held by the Custodians at the start of the Necron turn. So the Custodians moving off, despite the fact they're not going to be dead, and they weren't on the objective by the end of that movement phase, that will still tick that objective up for the Necrons. So that's an automatic 5er right there, but what's going to be tough, I think, is getting that no prisoner score. And I think the best candidate we have right now is this Wounded Caladius Graph Tank in the top. Killing that is going to be a little bit tough, though. So Raze putting himself in a good position to get big points on primary. But how he deals with his Custodian Guard Squad is going to be tough.
A 6. So I don't want any... Oh, they 5?
I think they're blue 5.
Oh, they're only 5. Yeah, so I'll make sure nothing's within 12 of them to give you a 7. Yeah. I thank you for deleting that terrain piece. And then they're OC3?
2. OC2.
2. All right, so I don't have to worry about having too many dudes on the point. That's fine.
You're also OC2, yeah?
Yep, because I am a frontline troop. So this one will just walk behind the wall, keep him within 2 of 2. So this guy needs to come back a little bit. Why am I still selecting that back model? I don't.
You link them together. Hold on.
How the hell did I do that? Oh, it's probably some tool I went into by accident.
You clicked the link tools. So some
miracle. I'm fumbling through. It's a different keyboard.
Yeah. Try to fix, please.
I don't really see a reason to give you more stuff. Sure. What do I want to do with you, Transcendent Catan? I guess he'll advance and just teleport over here. We'll just put him like right here, I guess. This seems
I may have
fine.
messed your model up more. Uh-oh.
You have changed the base. Well done.
I misclicked.
It's fine.
Sorry. I can't select him though. He's just stuck on the wall forever.
He's 0.1 inch away. That's all that really matters.
Yeah, you're good.
All right, shooting these three dudes are gonna shoot at your grav tank. They hit on 2s now because they have heavy guns. Winning on 3s. There's that fucking 2 again. Sure, let's re-roll the 2.
I don't know what Salad did here.
All right, 3 more 5-ups.
I have no idea how that's possible. This Immortal is just gone. I think he replaced his Collider somehow?
I'm just better at you at this game. It's just this
Yep.
is pure skill.
Yep, take another 6. Yep, just too good at the game. I can't contend.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. 66 plus 6. Let's see if I can roll more than the 15 and the 16 I rolled in the practice game. Nope. 3, 6, 9, 18. That's still fucking below average. Excellent.
4, yeah.
On 2s. And then 4s.
Because you just hit on 2s because you're cool like that.
It's what I get for being AP0. Excellent. This many saves on 2 up and 2 mortal wounds. Wait. Those 2 6s are just mortals.
Mortals.
And
great saves. From
you're now,
Salad.
let's see, what? 27 dice without rolling any 1s?
Alright, I do take 2 mortals.
That's
we'll
a
take
small
him on Bill.
consolation to me.
I wanted you to kill a guy. I'm not gonna lie. I really wanted you to kill a guy. I'm kind of sad.
As I can tell you, I very consistently roll like trash, so you can always rely on me to not
What?
roll
How
well.
couldn't you kill him?
Because I rolled like shit. Okay, so we're gonna trade the no prisoners in for a point and take 5 on Stormhawk.
So Salad, they do have a once per game per unit stratagem for the Adeptus Custodes to bring a model back after it's destroyed.
Go ahead.
And because you can place that in your command phase, you can put it in coherency with another model in the unit. So you can actually use it to gain a little bit of movement by assigning wounds to a model in the back and then losing that model and placing it in the front in order to get an easier charge, which is why Salad would have liked to have seen a model die there.
They come in during your reserves.
Yeah. I'll figure that out later.
So Alaris Custodians pulling off the table. May try to respond to the Locust Destroyers because we do have a Locust Lord in the unit. They are going to be getting rerolls against them. The Tomb Blades are screening them pretty well, but we could potentially get a little bit of a placement in here to shoot at the Destroyers. It is also just going to be a lot of pressure on the Necron army. Now, I'm a little bit worried about these Tomb Blades in the middle. They are really aggressively placed and actually are a perfect charge target for the Custodians. So I think we're going to see this Tomb Blade unit get picked up and the Custodians get on the objective, and that's going to force Raze to deal with all of this stuff. And this is sort of the Custodian go turn. Every single unit exposes itself, and they ask you if you can deal with their profiles. And the answer is oftentimes no.
I started tracking it.
See what we have pulled for Adeptus Custodes. Looks like Storm Hostile Objectives. Oh man, these secondary mission cards are absolutely perfect for the Custodes this turn. So Storm Hostile Objective, pretty decent one. We just need to grab an objective that the enemy holds. We did score that out for Raze, but we haven't destroyed a unit yet for him. So he did not score no prisoners. So he is going to be, looks like, burning that for a command point. The other one that we have for Custodes is Defend Stronghold, so that's a relatively simple one. You just have to hold your backline objective for a round. There's very little in the Necron army that's going to really be threatening that currently. I don't believe Raze has any reserves. He doesn't. Everything's on the table. He could use his Veil of Darkness, but assuming that the Caladius Grav Tanks use their big bulk, plus the Exaction Squad at the back here, we can make it so that nothing can drop on the objective. And the other awkward thing about these Locusts is that they are mounted keyword, not infantry. So if they drop behind these walls, they can't even attempt a charge into the objective because they can't move through walls.
Thank you. I'm debating to Overwatch. I mean, I auto wound for each 6. I reroll 1s because you're the closest target. So 15 shots converts about 5, and then you save on 3s. Since you can't -1 damage them, in theory I kill 2.
Necrons are being way too aggressive. I think that is the potential.
So I will Overwatch.
Raze would like, I think, to get into a position where he can charge one of these units when it's not on an objective with the Lich Guard and try to
reroll
dirt
1s.
them with that
There you
big
go.
devastating
This
wounds
mini
brick when they don't
Minus
have fight first.
Because you're really good at rolling 6s. Yeah.
Hey, my dice had to wake up finally
Yeah. Wait, why is it that many?
because they're lethal. I'm shooting with 5 guys.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I was
5.
like,
On
they're
3.
2 shots.
No, they're 3. So I kill 2.
Yeah.
And then I have a Staff of Light to shoot at you.
It's a solid Overwatch, actually. Peels out a wounded model from the particle beamer shooting last turn and kills another guy. And again, these guys, that was in their movement phase. So they do not then get to create a new model back, assuming that the unit gets killed. So that's very nice, and it restricts the amount of stringing that Salad's able to do. So this unit's not currently on this objective without a charge. Ceaseless Hunter has already been triggered, so we don't have another reactive move available for them as well. So this might be prime pickings for Lich Guard if they are, if they're just standing out there. You then have to deal with the Alaris Custodians, though, and the Alaris Custodians with the rerolls against the character units are dangerous to the Lich Guard. Custodes feel so nice. Yeah, I do appreciate the one thing that they've captured in this edition. They've definitely gone a long way to making each faction play sort of a little bit true to lore. And one thing that they've captured in this edition is a single Custodian's ability to like really swing the battle. A lot of times you have one Space Marine doing something, you have one, warrior or whatever. And it doesn't really feel like they're that exciting, but you have one Custodian guard and he's a extremely tough bulwark of a unit. With 1 billion attacks, high stats, good offense, good defense. And you want to be able to deal with every Custodian guard your opponent brings, but if you can't, a lot of times one Terminator will run a flank, potentially.
This graphic will remain sitting in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
And just in a forever duel.
Don't worry.
It will not end. It will not end. It will not end.
He will continue not to roll any 1s. And now it will be no 1s and 2s. Does he have a line? Let me see.
I'm gonna make sure you have to move.
He does not. Though. Yeah, he does not have a line to these dudes.
He does not. He'll shoot your immortals, I guess.
Does he have a line to the immortals?
He does.
Oh, I meant this one. This guy doesn't. Does he have a line to the immortals?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he's got a line. I think I have.
This guy's gonna make sure you have to move your guys to the next turn. So to get 3 shots, you'll have to move.
Cool.
Or revive, or do whatever cool things you do. I think the 2 mini guys want to have some fun this turn. They'll come down to Funky Town. I don't love this Transcendent Catan personally. Personal opinion.
Fine.
Well, there he can exist in bliss or something. He just picks up 2 of these guys. It's not fun. He doesn't touch Trajan though. Trajan just kind of runs at you. I'll think about these 2 guys in a bit.
Mm-hmm.
These guys, I don't think get a real line because they're not in range. That's fine. Those guys just can go fight here. Where's Terminators go? I think I do put them on this side. This side needs some help. Trojan can't hard carry this side that hard. See what he can do. Okay. Shooting phase, I guess now. The 2-win tank is gonna shoot your destroyers.
Okay, hitting on 3s now.
Indeed. I'm
Cool.
good at this game.
Yep, just, hey, you finally rolled a 1. That's,
Hang on.
what?
4 ones.
7 plus 24, 1
So
1
good
out
at
of
this
30
game.
dice. So,
yeah.
saving on 5s. Nope.
All
Damage.
right. See if the Custodes can pick up the second unit of Locust Heavy Destroyers.
Dead.
A little bit painful
5 up.
to watch this go down.
Damage.
Oh, man. Oh!
And 1
Aw.
lives.
It's
So,
D6 plus 2 damage on the
you can pass that to me
the-
if you want.
Uh-huh.
blaze cannons on this guy. So if we do fail a shot here, that is going to actually leave the unit alive and allow them to
Well, I
reanimate.
need at least 3 command
And
points.
they will
this
probably
turn.
then win this firefight.
I don't need any more. Next turn, I don't discard objectives, so I kind of need all 4. And realistically, I needed 4. So we let that pass? Question mark? Yeah, I'm gonna let that pass.
Okay. 5 up again. And a 5 up. Okay, so this guy's on 1. Assuming
Okay.
he's in coherency of the other guy, I might actually have to swap those two. He is not. So this one's actually on 1.
That's good.
And this guy is dead. Back to you. Hey, I finally made 5 up saves. It's a fucking miracle. Do I want to spend a CP to resurrect a guy? Or to roll? I could shoot back. If I pop the tank. That's not terrible.
Only one guy can see the tank.
Yeah, I know.
So considering a reactive fire here into the Custodes,
Guy
because we did lose a model from that shot.
will shoot back.
Ooh,
On a 2.
spicy.
And then a 3. And give me a 5 up.
Wow, 1 shot goes through on the Graph tank. Let's see a save and he makes it.
Yep. Fucking kill myself. Alright, go ahead.
Oh, man.
I don't think you're within.
Sorry,
36.
terms of serious services, just, make every single save. Very cool.
The
Mhm.
tank will shoot the immortals.
Sure.
Is definitely within 36. So you got the little minigun for funsies. So this is a big gun, of course.
Question
AP3,
about
so I got plenty of guys in cover.
getting TTS set up on a Mac. I don't have any. Unfortunately, I don't have any
5
information for you. I don't have a Mac myself, so I don't have any insight. But
dead guy.
all the TTS mods are files that they're JSON files that TTS can render. And as long as you find these, whatever the software uses as a saves folder, you should be able to move the mods from the Battleforge pack to that save folder and then open them up in TTS there. I don't believe it works any differently for Macs, but the location of your saves folder will most likely be different.
He's fine.
Is it? Do you want to revive?
No.
Okay. These 2 edge turn.
So again, chat, Salad has sort of ruined these immortals here, so I believe that these immortals are meant to be farther forward, but they are immovable right now. So we're just gonna hope they die and don't ruin the game state here.
Yeah. Just don't roll any 1s,
Just 2.
3s. It's fine.
Good. And then the little spears.
Mm-hmm. I guess the one side of your dice does not exist.
Some classic Raze commentary from on his dice.
The other squad will try again.
I don't know if they can both see. Yeah, they can both see.
So firing as many
Yeah,
Alaris
it's-
Custodians into these guys as transhumanly possible here.
The other side of the 10. Hey, you finally rolled a 1.
Actually.
Let's go. 1
Wound.
on a 3-up.
The Alaris have massive attack volume. They're mostly the anti-infantry Custodian type. If we have the standard guard to break through larger targets with highly efficient shots with rerolls fighting on objectives. The Alaris Custodians with that wrist-mounted grenade launcher actually get a huge number of attacks, especially if they are triggering blast.
Start shooting Terminators.
Okay, and these guys, wardens here.
Mm-hmm. Any of these that can't see? Nope.
So Raze is trying
Wardens
as
are
hard
just
as he can to hold this top objective by stringing these Immortals out for as long as possible. The Immortals can reanimate as soon as they, when it comes back to Raze's turn. Right now, where the Alaris Custodians are, if we took out a highlight on this objective, they aren't touching the objective quite yet. They have to charge onto it,
Sure.
which is a little bit of a dicey charge. And if they fail, Raze is going to be holding this objective and scoring it up to the maximum score of 10 points per turn you can get in this mission, which is exactly where he wants to hold on to, especially since he's going to be down a little bit on secondary so far, I think.
Fundamentally, that's too far.
Mm-hmm.
We are again spacing.
Looks like we're about to score 8 points, I assume, on Salad's turn, unless somehow he loses his home objective, which seems impossible at this point. So we did get to charge in with the Wardens onto the Tomb Blades. I am a little surprised by the placement of these Tomb Blades. They are very aggressively placed. I think Raze might have been trying to place around the Ceaseless Hunter reactive move on the Blade Champions squad, but unfortunately... that does put them into this easy charge range. And like we saw in the last turn, the Custodian Wardens aren't very fast themselves, so they could flub an advance roll and not get to this objective, which is exactly what happened on the first turn. But it's much easier if you have a charge roll. The charge roll is 2d6 inches of movement, and the advance roll is only d6. So you're going twice as fast if you're able to charge. Did we just roll an 11-inch charge from the Blade Champions? All right, Salad. Salad, by the way, is an absolute... dice champion when it comes to just rolling super duper duper long charges. These guys, that did carry him to victory a little bit in his season 5 invitational finals, where he was able to get the win. Was able to actually play almost the same matchup against the Necrons and get some super long charges downrange with Chaos Space Marines in order to get the win.
You are currently within 6. Yep.
Ensuring that we are outside of a heroic intervention range. That would be a little bit disgusting. This is going to be gross. Now, these Custodian Guard are not going to be on an objective, so they're not going to be re-rolling, but the Blade Champion does have a 3 damage weapon, so he is able to hit for 3 damage on all these Locust Destroyers and then hope that the rest of the Guard can mop up the pieces. And while I don't know if the Resurrection Orb Lord dies, I do think that there's a non-insignificant chance that we see the Locust unit die.
They don't need to charge. I trust.
So deciding on a charge with the Terminators. I think the danger is that if you charge the Terminators, you roll super high on your charge, and you actually force them to move off this objective by forcing them to base enemy models. And then whoever fights first here pulls the other unit out of being able to attack. So you would not actually be able to get with both attacks anyway.
Mm-hmm.
All right, here we go. The Alaris Custodians up on the top here do fail their charge.
It's fine. Yep. Let's go to 7 inches then. 7 inches.
So that was the long charge from the Deep Striker. Failed the 7-inch charge as well. Do we see a CP reroll? Oh my god, this could be disastrous if these guys fail a relatively easy charge.
Okay. So you'd be down to 3, I guess.
Yeah, here's the reroll. Oh, getting the yellow dice out for Custodes' luck.
This is the more important charge.
Yellow dice for the Banana Boys. There's a 9. They do
Okay.
make it onto the Immortals. Ooh, this is unfortunate for Raze so far. And that is far enough to get them out in the side here. Now, it's not a sure thing that the Immortals die. Again, the Lars Custodians only get rerolls against monsters, vehicles, and characters, and most of Raze's army does not share those keywords, so he doesn't get rerolls against them.
Wait, no, he was the back one.
This guy's the back guy,
Yeah.
There you go. That's out of 6 of your evil spirits. Okay. Now I debate whether I want to make the charge. I hold that point. Hold that point.
You currently do not hold this point.
I'll hold
You
that
also
center
currently do
point.
not hold this point yet.
I'm definitely taking the center point. There's like no way I don't.
You're welcome.
So we can
to leave that.
we can charge. We can charge the Terminators in.
Okay. Cool. Yep.
See, Trevi should have. If you watched Trevi's video, you would have known that I'm really good at making deep strike charges.
Your dice have been
That is-
spectacular this game. I won't argue
That
with
is Salad's. That is Salad's trait.
This must have been.
Yeah, wow. This is a huge turn. So that does actually pull the Custodians off this objective. And I think Salad, feeling like he's a little bit more more open to charge on this side now that he's made this charge on the top here, because he's probably going to hold it down at least one of these 2 objectives. And that means he can get pushed off one objective and still hold the middle with the Wardens. There's almost no way that the what's the word? That the Necrons are able to contest that objective and his home objective.
I'm sorry, which unit?
Terminate. The big
The
Elephant
Custodians?
squad.
Okay.
The big squad.
If he can base, he has to.
He's going to. I just can't. I'm struggling to press right click and base you. This guy will base you. Base.
So
we'll
looks
have,
like this one
guy.
doesn't get the fight.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that is
Folks in chat.
5 Terminators. So
Kind of
we're
insane charges here. I hope that Raze is able to come back from this this turn. These charge rolls have been kind of nuts. That is Salad's specialty, and unfortunately, we needed to see some heavier screening out of these
hitting on 2s, exploding 6.
Necrons. But that does open the Necrons up to be able to engage into these Custodians without them being able to fight first. So that's a pretty big deal.
My fight's been really bad.
And
T6, so
looks
you're
like
winning
we
on
don't have a great hit roll from the Custodians, but they are wounding because there's a character in the unit, and that's going to be a big crushing blow from the Yalaris Custodians. Look at that, 21 AP2 damage, 2 hits onto the Locust Destroyers. Almost no chance we make these.
there are AP
We do have the potential to remove the Blade Champions unit if we
I have to break
lose
these down. They're damaged
all but 1,
so-
and then we can
Well,
use the
that's-
Resurrection Orb to hopefully get the unit back.
Sure.
Although I think they moved out of the
Start rolling dice eventually.
Reanimator aura. Oh, chat. Oh, no.
There is a dead Lich Guard.
Oh, no.
Two
There's a 2 dead.
dead.
1 on
2.5.
1. 3
3
dead.
dead.
4 dead.
This is revenge for like rolling
5. Yep. 6 are dead.
Jeez. Chat, these saves! So that was the entire Locust Destroyer unit just getting picked up easily there.
He's got a 4 up.
And then here's the invulnerable saves on the Locust Lord. He's doing okay. Oh my god, that was gross. And that is so unfortunate, too. Off the back of an 11-inch charge in the Blade Champions unit. Are you kidding me?
Great dice.
So disgusting.
Champion will just kind of chill. Doesn't really have anything to
Yeah,
do.
can't
I don't believe they
can't
can do it.
pile in or consolidate here because you can't make it to engagement with any enemy units, so they just stand for there for a bit. Now, it's up to the Lich Guard to sort of hard carry the game. We do have the Lich Guard and the Transcendent Catan. We have a Locust Heavy Destroyer ready to restart resurrecting models back to the army and maybe hopefully finally pick up this Caladius Grav Tank. The Transcendent Catan is a tough cookie because most of the Custodian profiles are 2 damage. The fact that the Transcendent Catan halves damage does literally half the damage that they would be taking. Plus, it has the Sempiternal Weave, so it has a 4+ Feel No Pain, so it's going to be basically quartering the damage that it's already taking, and that's after a 4+ Invulnerable save, which is mathematically another 50% gate you have to get through in order to get that damage through. So you're basically doing, out of every hit that from a Custodian weapon that impacts the successfully wounds the Catan Shard, you're getting 1/16 of a wound on average, because you have a 4+ and half damage and then a 4+. Absolutely nuts. Lich Guard about to Lich Slap. I think that's the hope. Not a lot of attacks in those guys, though. They got to roll pretty well to get out of here. We also have Auric and the Diviner. We should be... to be fair, there's a lot of punch in that unit. We'll see if it can ramp around the side of the table here and sort of bring things back into line. The fact that the Custodian Wardens are on the middle objective, though, is going to be really dangerous for the Necrons, because most importantly, it means that the Custodians are going to start ticking up 10-point primary turns, and there's not really anything the Necrons can do about it right now. And it's going to be a turn or two before they themselves can get back into getting those 10-point primary turns. Now, another thing to keep in mind, too, is that this unit of Alaris Custodians, these guys right here, I believe, just came out of Deep Strike and attempted to charge. They failed, which means that if they're not removed, they can then pick up at the end of the Necron turn and then Deep Strike again. So they can potentially reposition themselves to shore up whichever side gets pushed on by the Necrons.
I finally rolled average. Oh god, lol.
Cool. 5s. You kill a guy. I don't need to respawn because I hold the point.
Yeah. Oh, it's really bad.
Ooh,
oh,
and the Alaris Custodians now without their rerolls and winning on 3s because the Immortals' high toughness. Looks like Flub and the Immortals actually lose the objective. Is this? I assume this is 3 Immortals alive.
Are you done?
I think I was his Blade Champion squad. I don't know if he can consolidate / pylon or if he just stays there. Someone tell me the answer.
I'm fairly certain you can't do either unless you can either get to a point or engage a new enemy.
Yeah, you can't pile in if you can't get to a melee. And
Yep.
And then if
Can't
you
engage, can't consolidate because they can't go anywhere.
Correct.
Okay, you fight me now.
Okay. So we are going to unlock it. Oh, that was interesting.
What the
What?
okay.
Can
All right,
you rewind, Trevi?
We're gonna have to take a
Go
second here. It looks like the players have
I
broken
think
the entire
there's-
table.
I believe.
Sorry, chat.
What the fuck is this?
What happened? I'm gonna pause the clock.
Yeah, it seems like a good plan. I think
All right, chat. We are back. All problems fixed. As we say in the biz, it wouldn't be a T5S2 stream without some technical difficulties, and we got ours out of the way here. Players had done some funky linking of things by accident, I think, and we had to sort of extricate that problem, but we fixed the issue, and now we have the correct number of mortals in the unit. They are fighting the Alaris Custodians and bouncing off of them pretty effectively. And that is the Custodes finishing their turn. But Raze holding on, skin of his Necron, is living metal teeth here with this Immortal Squad on this objective. So he is going to be getting his 10 points of primary, and that is a big deal for the Necrons. It keeps them in parity in terms of the scoring. The question is going to be whether or not they can hold the Custodes to a 5-point score themselves. And I don't believe that they have the ability to do so currently, unless we maybe can see like a huge number of Immortals run onto this objective. But these Wardens, because they have a Vixillus in the unit, are in fact Objective Control 3. So we currently have 15 OC worth of Wardens and Trajan Valoris for a total of 17 OC hanging out on that objective, and that is a ton.
I thought reanimation happened after, or happened before.
It's just I can't gain control of the point because control of the point is established at the end of a phase, phase. So it would have been end of turn. We would determine who controls this point. Go into command phase. I can't steal it from you if you control it. Well, I guess we go down here and try and hit some stuff. This Destroyer Lord's gonna move and then like pew some dudes, I guess.
Sounds good.
Scarab Swarms move 7. And then a 7-inch charge, sure. 6. And then, could you move your hand, please? An inch. Yeah, 7-inch charge, cool. He's gonna have to go back a little bit. Still a 7. These mortals are just gonna fall back out of engagement range. Oh, I have to reanimate the destroyer. 1d3. 2. Guy comes back with 2 wounds. Blink.
So I think, just to be clear, because scoring, level of control, and reanimation all happen simultaneously, I think you can order them to control objectives in your own command phase.
That seems nifty. This whole squad's got line of sight to these Custodians. Do I want to move up? I don't expect it makes much difference, so no. I don't believe you left anyone with a 9 of this point. No. So we're going to advance with this Shan Gatan, and he's just going to pop over here.
Ooh, spicy Transcendent drop.
Hola, ¿cómo está?
Do I want to be hidden from a tank, or at least get cover? Cover is irrelevant. We'll just make your charge as hard as possible.
So these Transcendent Catan, super maneuverable. They do have assault weapons, and every time they advance, they can choose to pick themselves up off the table and plop themselves back down as if they were deep struck. So just hopping down on the objective here. Now, the Alaris Custodians and the Custodian Guard, whoever turns around here to deal with this guy, will get rerolls against him. The Alaris Custodians, because he's both a character and a monster. The Custodian Guard, because he is a... because he's on an objective, and they would come and hold the objective, and then they would get the rerolls there. But that means that this dude is extremely good at scoring secondaries. And because he has assault weapons, he can actually advance and do that whole thing and perform actions. One of the actions that we have drawn for the Necrons this turn is Cleanse. So he will score if he's able to perform an action on mid-board objectives outside of both players' deployment zones, which he can do because he has hopped over to the side and can now be selected to shoot. So the Transcendent Catan can grab this objective and score Raze a bunch of points. And if he elects to do so, which I think he probably will, Raze can also do so with these immortals. So this immortal unit has regenerated back to 9 models in the unit, thanks to that reanimator. Absolutely ludicrous reanimation protocols, as is to be expected from the Necron tier, and that will actually allow him to cleanse this objective as well. So we're going to see a big primary objective swing, or secondary mission swing, excuse me, for the Necrons. They're going to get 5 points on that secondary mission. Looks like only a 5-point turn from Salad on secondary missions this battle round if he's able to complete Defense Stronghold for 3 and got his other secondary for 2.
No, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Secure No Man's Land, yeah, I believe, which only scored 2 because he only held a single objective marker in No Man's Land, yeah. So, actually, pretty big swing in the favor of the Necrons here. They might be down on material, but they are up on victory points significantly so far. Now, they are top of turn, but we do have the charge here. Now, 4 CP being represented for the Adeptus Custodes. The danger here, charging into 2 Custodian units with these Lich Guard, is that you could charge one, the other unit could then heroically intervene. And the Lich Guard have good damage output in melee, strength 8, AP3, 2 damage, devastating wound, melee attacks. But the scary thing is they definitely can't fight 2 Custodian units. Maybe the Custodian Guard, but I don't think, certainly not the Custodian Guard and the Alaris Custodians. We'll see what Raze can do to try to prevent that. Now, he does have a little bit of secret technology. He actually did tell, he told Salad about this at the beginning. He can charge Inachnoptic Scarab Swarm into the Alaris Custodians, engage them so they're no longer eligible to perform a heroic intervention, and then use the Scarab's ability to detonate themselves at the start of the fight phase to then pull the Custodians back out of melee to prevent them from coming back in. So we could see that technology enacted if we make a 7 in charge on this Custodian, so it's going to be a big one.
What cover? This unit of 2 dudes?
Yeah, this guy's, I've got like 100% cover.
Yeah, alright, cool. Because the cover system in 10th is really cool. Sure.
Yeah, so because we've strung the Immortals out super far here, they don't all have line of sight to the unit that they're shooting at, which does grant that unit cover. So taking a couple of damage on Alaris Custodian, 2 wounds down so far.
And I'm wounding on 3s.
I do it again.
Rolling fucking 2s and not goddamn 1s. Finally do explode. It only took, let's see, 8,
like
9 shots with like 7 conversions. Very cool.
What's dead so far, chat? Yeah, we can take a look at the casualty piles here. It's mostly Necrons, unfortunately. 1 unit of Locust Destroyers was killed in the firefight with the Caladius Grav tanks, which, unfortunately for the Necrons, they are winning. But we do have 1 Caladius Grav tank finally destroyed for these heavy destroyers. They may be able to actually survive now. However, 1 unit did bite the dust for that peace trade. We'd lost both units of Tomb Blades. They pushed forward very aggressively, got charged by Custodians and died. And the Locust Heavy Destroyers, unfortunately for Raze, and this might have been a game-swinging occurrence, Salad made 2 huge charges with these Custodian Guard over on this flank. One with the Custodian Guard with the Blade Champion. They had to make an 11-inch charge from behind this building into where they were standing now, which was absolutely ludicrous. On the other side, we also saw an Alaris Custodian unit charge out of Deep Strike to kill that squad. Now, the Locust Lord did survive, so he's going to be hanging out in the back here, just chilling and shooting his Staff of Light. But the unit is dead, and that is so much firepower lost for the Necrons. So the Necrons are really playing from behind, but they are making the best of it with some good secondary pulls. And the fact that this Grav tank is dead now means that if the Custodians don't turn around and deal with this Transcendent Catan, what could potentially happen is the Catan teleports into the back here. If we open up a spot with in the back line around this ruin, probably, where the Exaction Squad is, that Transcendent Catan could use sustained hit weapon in ranged attack to burn away the entire Voidsman unit and really sort of dominate control of that objective. So that's something that could potentially swing this game, assuming that nobody turns around to deal with that guy. All right, we do get the big Lich Guard unit charging onto the Custodian Guard. Did we get the Scarab Swarms in? Oh, we didn't, chat. Oh, no. So it doesn't look like we're going to be able to prevent a heroic intervention here, and that is a little bit terrifying. But these Lich Guard do have a pretty sweet melee profile. They have a strong defensive profile, and they will get to swing first before any of these Custodians swing. There's potential interrupt in the way, but you don't need it if you're only attacking one unit.
That is still not a correct place for model.
What are you doing right now? Just playing bouncy Alaris Terminators?
I think he couldn't move here. He'd probably be on this side of the wall.
This guy could be in the back.
Sure.
There's some.
He's still not a correct placement for a model. Excellent. Well done. Is that within an inch? It is within an inch. Therefore, I cannot go there, so I got to go here.
Yep.
And then you, 7. And Overlord, 7. Can I fit a guy here? Nope. So he's just going to go... No
But yet they can't fight first when not on an objective.
Yep. And then I need to...
to my knowledge. So I think they are just going to be... hanging out and eating the first round of attacks. Yeah, Unwavering Sentinels only grants fight first if you are within range of an objective. So there is no fights first available to this Blade Champion squad unless I'm missing something.
2 inches. I have to go to 2 inches of Oricon.
Yeah, it does require an objective. That's something that's easy to forget. I think the common adage from people is that, well, Custodians always fight first, so you can never charge them. But the thing to remember, first of all, they cost 2 CP. That's so expensive.
You want to do anything?
Second of all, it does require them to be on an objective, and if it's Trajan's fight first ability, if he has used his moment shackle previously in the game, he cannot then fight first. So there's a lot of situations in which you can engineer situations where you can get to fight the Custodians before they go. So question here is whether or not we see a heroic intervention declared. Did we just roll an 11, chat? Are you kidding me?
You cannot walk through my models, good sir. Unless...
No way. No way. So the last 3 charge rolls that Salad has rolled have been a 11, 11, 9. Oh, I guess besides the Alaris Custodians up top. Their charge rolls were bad. So you can't win them all, I guess. But holy crap, dude. So gets a huge engagement on the Alaris Custodians. And what this is going to force Raze to do is split his attacks between the units. I think what Raze wants to do, and because he has Assassination right now, is put everything into the Blade Champion's unit, kill the Custodians of the unit, and then murder the Blade Champion through them. And unfortunately for him, what he then has to do is fight these Alaris Custodians with some of the models in his unit. And that is super unfortunate. He is keeping Auric and the Diviner in the back here to prevent any potential chicanery from precision weapons from killing him and removing the invulnerable save on this unit. But that does mean that Aurican cannot then divine the time is nigh and Super Saiyan himself to go murder everyone. But with 2 units engaging him now, I think that, especially with such a good engage as he got, as Salad got, I'm not sure that these Lich Guard are long for this world. We'll see if they can roll really good on these Custodians. I'm kind of pulling for them. That's going to be a little bit tough.
You can fight.
So I'm going to go to the start of the fight phase. Is there anything you want to do?
No, because I can't do anything.
So we're going to chop the living crap out of your Blade Guard unit.
So 4 CP held for Adeptus Custodes. They
his is at the start
can
of the fight first. Yeah.
Half damage or reduce damage by 1
which I just gave the opportunity to
in response with the Blade Champion.
I will declare at the start of the phase, because I didn't declare. I will declare -1 to hit.
Okay.
So I could do exploding 6s. That'd be cool. What strats can you pull on the Lich Guard?
I can give them +1 strength, +1 AP.
Okay, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. That it?
That's it. Everything else is reactive, and it's all defensive.
Alrighty, we'll go exploding 6s.
Okay. So we'll start with the Lich Guard. You're going to put all 20 attacks into your Custodians.
No Wardens here, chat. These are all just Custodian Guard.
You're not on a point, so you can't -1 damage them.
I don't need to do that. It's fight first that's on a point.
Okay. Right.
That's true.
20 attacks on 2.
So we did -1 damage. So holding up all these command points for the Custodes is huge. Oh, that -1 to hit would have been huge there.
3 mortal wounds,
Not
and
too
these
many
are all on your
misses.
4 up.
It literally doesn't
And
matter.
8 saves through
Yes, but you get to roll these dice twice, and
onto
you only
the
get to roll these dice
Custodians.
once.
I
If
don't
you
know.
want to
I don't
roll them
get-
twice,
I don't have any
'Cause-
dice. I can roll twice. What do you?
do they not have an invo save?
They have a normal influence save.
Right, so that's 3 more. So these now turn into wounds, which you get to roll with the 3 more devastating wounds.
I don't have Fennel Pains. Raze. Wrong unit.
They're not custodian. Isn't that your army rule? Is it 4 up
I
against
get
mortals?
4 up against mortals.
Okay.
Okay.
So you take 5.
You take 5 damage.
Mm-hmm.
Oof, that doesn't sound great. Yeah, I think the question is because
And then
the
Overlord's 3 attacks.
the distinction between the devastating wounds and the normal attacks would have been important if the -1 damage hadn't been active. So the reason that matters is that the mortal wounds can trickle over between different models. So the devastating wounds gives the critical wound roll. So the in this case 5 or 6 to wound on the Lich Guard's attacks. Mortal wounds instead of their normal damage, which bypass saves and can cross from model to model. Normal wounds deal all their damage to a single model. So because they're normally 2 damage, each Custodian Guard could take 2 failed saves before dying. However, the mortal wounds would percolate over if a Custodian Guard took 4 mortal wounds from 2 attacks, for example, and then failed the last save against the last one, it would convert over to the next model. In this case, because they were all 1 damage attacks, and either they were being saved on a 4+ invulnerable save or ignored on a 4+ feel no pain, they then it didn't matter which one was which. Basically, so it looks like we've left 1 Custodian Guard on 1 wound, and the Blade Champion is unscathed. So maybe no assassination for the Necrons here.
Hitting on 2s, wounding on 4s. Yep.
So 7 hits.
And I'm -1 to be wounded, so wounding on 4s. Death.
4 onto your Overlord.
4 ups. I take a wound.
2 wounds on your Overlord.
He has damage -1.
Okay, 1 damage.
I
Oh wait,
also
he has damage -1. Then I
he
won't
does.
put it on there. I won't put it on him then.
Sure. All right. So he's still at 6. Where am I going to allocate that wound? I'll just. These guys are damage 3, right? But they're only AP.
Oh, this
they're still damage 2.
in. You mind?
No, I don't mind.
Doesn't even matter.
He doesn't get to fight if you don't base your Blade Champion. So I'll just put it on a Lich Guard. 4 up. He's fine. All right.
Why'd you roll 4?
Now you get.
You failed 1 save, right?
Right. I think at the point I'm making saves, the damage would be on the Overlord, right?
I guess, yeah, you can take a damage.
Sure. It doesn't really matter. I mean, actually, the Overlord getting wounded is pretty bad, but. So he gets
1 damage, and then he has 7
also
attacks.
+2 attacks. They get +2 attacks just straight up for the strat.
Stratagem. Yeah,
That's
they're
really
below
good.
half strength.
Okay, and there are wounding on 4s as well.
Take 4 saves.
Okay. We'll start with taking these on crypto thralls. 4 up. Sure. 4 ups. 4 up. 4 up. And a 4 up. Well, now I start making saves after I lost 75% of my army. Okay.
Every single save but 1. That's disgusting. All right.
Hey, tell me about good dice rolls.
All right. The next squad will do the same. It is
Sure.
25 plus a 9, so 34.
Sure.
That's 1.
Yep. 4's to wound.
Rolling.
Why are they Oh, because these guys are
Yeah.
character hunters? Yeah, alright. Okay.
25.
Let's start taking it on regular fucking crypto thralls. Sure. 2 crypto thralls. Let's fail 1. Does he fail it? He's on 1. 2 crypto thralls. Pass. Pass 2 Crypto Thralls. Pass 2 Crypto
Sure.
Thralls. Feels it. Does he die? That is 1
Yes.
dead Crypto Thrall. And then 1 Crypto Thrall. 4 up. 4 up. Takes it. Does he feel it? He takes 1. So 4 up. He takes it. Does he feel it? Nope.
No.
4 up. 4 up.
I'd request
Takes
not
it.
you to rolling so many 4-ups, man.
And he dies. And now
actually,
regular
there's
Lich
4
Guard.
dice.
There are 10 of them, so let's roll 9 dice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yay!
Second die. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we'll leave you in melee. That's fine. And then 4 more, so 4 up. Dead. 4 up. Dead. Well, there's the other side of the 4 ups. And then we'll
they're
spend
coming eventually.
0 CP to reanimate 2d3 plus 1. Cool. I get 3 wounds back. That'll be Crypto Thralls. And that's that. Oh, I roll so good. It's very powerful. I will say, do I score anything? I don't assassinate, so we'll check that for a CP. And I don't cleanse. Cool. Go ahead.
Start a turn, I'll get 10.
Start a turn, I'll reanimate 2d3 of Lich Guard. 5. Actually has to be a wound on the Overlord. So technically, I don't get a Crypto Thrall back. The Overlord heals to full.
Actually,
then the Lich
so if
Guard
you don't get a Crypto Thrall back, then Orokin dies. So Orokin
no.
would die from morale or from coherency.
Except it's only a unit of 6, so he doesn't die to coherency. Because I don't have to be within 2 of 2.
I guess so. 2/2. Yeah.
I don't have to be within 2 of 2.
Yeah, you super dead.
Okay, so let's remove this Crypto Thrall. He's within 2 of a model, within 2 of a model, within 2 of a model, within 2 of a model.
Yeah.
I don't need double
And
coherence.
be a full. Overlord's up 6. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was the first reanimation. Now I'm going to reanimate during your command phase.
Yep.
We'll bring back a Crypto Thrall at full, and we'll bring back 2 Lich Guard, 1 at 2, 1 at 1. Yeah. Sure. Alright, that's my command phase on your turn. Go ahead. Sorry, your command phase.
Alright, I'll choose to not pick up anything.
Cool.
Defend Strongholds gets completed at the end of the turn. 3. It gets discarded. I draw Capture Enemies and Investigate Signals.
Wait.
It's okay.
I held this point at the start of the turn, so I actually had 10 primaries.
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, at the start of my command phase?
No, I
You did
cleansed
not.
Dick. I mean, I guess I could have cleansed with the Catan shard, but it fired, so nope.
I'm gonna spend 1 command point and revive the guy.
Sure.
Maybe keep holding 2 out for me. I want to see where I can put this guy. I put this guy here.
Okay.
So the turn, this guy falls back.
You need to battle shock the unit.
Oh, I do. Let me do that.
And they fail.
Fail.
That means you can't reanimate, unfortunately.
I will just note that.
Okay, so they auto pass, and then you spend your last CP. So you do have to desperate breakout because you're below half strength.
Well, no, I'm not battle shocked.
Is it not if you're below half strength? Okay.
Because we'll kill somebody, probably. See who can just murk.
Do they have a charge after falling back?
They fall back, shoot, and charge.
Is that not a once per game?
No.
was muted there for a second, chat. I apologize. So we did pull capture enemy outpost this turn for the Adeptus Custodes. That's a huge draw right now for the Necrons. They or for Custodes. They're able to fall back and operate normally with the Ceaseless Hunter enhancement on the Blade Champion, and now able to push in and potentially score 8 victory points on this home objective for the Necrons. The Overlord's Reanimation Orb did get a couple models back, and it looks like the Wardens are coming into play as well with them. Yikes.
Cool.
Do whatever they do. Yeah.
So I don't know where I cut out here, chat, but the I did think that the Necrons had been cleansing this turn, but not having cleansed, losing the assassination run that turn to try to kill the Blade Champion was super unfortunate. That -1 damage on the Custodes, you know, cutting the damage of the only 2 damage Lich Guard attacks in half was absolutely brutal. But it does mean that these... he did have that dead secondary in his hand. It was a good try to kill the Blade Champion, but unfortunately didn't end up panning out. But it would have looked a lot better if Raze had snuck out both of these backline objectives from the Custodians and grabbed himself 5 secondary mission points at the same time. Unfortunately for him, now with a basically dead cleanse in his hand that he's going to have to deal with this coming turn. It looks like we are firing the Caladius Grav Tank probably impotently into the Transcendent Catan, I imagine.
Which his coding is currently broken. Excellent.
Alrighty, these 2 close Terminators are going to shoot everything to the Immortals.
Sure. It's not a full squad, so only blasting
10
1.
shots.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure why I cut out there, chat. That was weird.
Just 2.
Maybe a
If you
fat
want.
fingered a hotkey somewhere.
2 guys die.
Spears.
We'll just, yeah.
1 more save for me.
4 up. Fine.
The other squad will do the same thing. 2d6. 10 again.
Mm-hmm.
So trying to rinse down the Immortals.
Only these auto wounded.
Alaris Custodians can get into the Locust Heavy Destroyers over here.
Do I have any cover from anyone? I don't think so, technically. So 4s. Good.
Your time. Uh-oh.
Nope.
The Custodians will go ahead and shoot the Scarab Swarms.
Okay.
4 shots.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They're T2.
Roll that then. 3 AP1s. You
And
have
they
cover.
They reroll 1s?
Reroll 1s.
Yeah, they're probably just they're immortals. I think they have a 6-up save. 6 up, so 6s. Alright, let's go. Are these damage 2?
Damage 2 as I fill the base.
Alright. Dead
And
score.
we'll do it again. Once per game.
Sure. 6s. Alright, 1's alive on 2.
Wardens. All but 1 guy into the Catan. Trajan. Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And rest of them.
The Scarabs fail their charge? I believe that they did, chat, yeah. It didn't look like they were... It was a 7-inch charge into the Alaris Custodians to try to prevent the heroic intervention, and they weren't able to make it. And it was, I think, because they had to pull back so far to investigate signals in the first turn. So they got left back there a little bit and weren't able to come and be as reactive as they could, which was very sad. All right, here comes charges. So a little bit of damage through. We got 3 on the Transcendent Khazan. It's probably not really in danger here. It is, I believe, out OC, or it's at equal OC to the Cladius Grav Tank, so we're probably going to see a charge there to try to engage that guy. Alari's Custodians here have a pretty good chance of knocking down the Immortals. We're charging back to the objective. Wow, so leaving the Heavy Destroyers alive to continue their predations, but 2 units of Alari's Custodians should kill the Immortals unless we see some bizarre combat pulls here. The Custodes' best features. I will do it again. Yeah, that's fair.
What number? 9. Blade Champion Squad is gonna charge the Locust Lord.
Cool.
I'll do it. This guy has to base you.
Mm-hmm.
So here come the guys onto the Locust
This guy
Lord.
does not have to base.
Oof, unfortunately, that is such a crazy draw for the Custodians. This is literally the perfect time to pull Capture Enemy Outpost. Unfortunately, kind of the biggest variance draw in the deck so far. You can pull it on round 1 like Raze did and get boned a little bit. Or you can pull it bottom round 3 here when you have a unit that can fall back and charge directly onto a poorly defended enemy outpost and you just take it for freezies, basically. So unfortunate for Raze. Oh, declaring the time is nigh with Orca the Diviner, so he is going to be tripling his strength and attacks for this round and dealing devastating wounds on all of his wound rolls if they are successful. The question is whether or not...
Yep, you're 12. Okay.
Is going to be able to survive Trajan's unit incoming. Yeah, here comes Trajan with the big swing. His big, scary 3 damage swing.
All you got to do is verbalize.
Mm-hmm.
3 is to wound.
So the Scarab, what the Scarab would have done that last turn, chat, is they could have engaged the Alaris Custodians, so they couldn't have heroically intervened. And then Scarabs have the ability to pull themselves out of combat by detonating themselves. So you can use them cheekily to prevent charges and stuff momentarily. Or prevent combat movement. And then pull the target out of combat, which is cool.
2 die.
Love that objective to get can't be scored turn 1. Yeah, it is wild that Capture Enemy Outpost doesn't have the shuffle back in turn 1. I don't know, like that one and Behind Enemy Lines feel like a little abusive turn 1. It is even kind of strange, some of the ones. Like Defend Stronghold not being scoreable on turn 1 is a little bit weird. But that one does make sense because it's more passive. The more active ones are the harder ones, so it is even more punishing when you draw those in the first turn. I would love those to shuffle back in for sure.
Lich Guards, there's 3 left, I think. 2 left. 4 ups. 4 up. 1 dies. 4 up. And dies. Cool.
So much fun playing against Custodians that no one ever... I actually kind of enjoy Custodians, but only because... maybe it's because of the armies that I play. Have pretty good sort of multi-damage shots into them, and so it can actually sort of go toe-to-toe. But once the Custodians get to your deployment zone, it's all over, and that usually happens round 3. It's tough to stop the onslaught.
These guys also don't get a fight.
Yeah.
What does Bring It Down not shoot reshuffle if there's no monsters? Yeah, that one's honestly probably more egregious. At least Capture Enemy Outpost, like, some armies can do it on the first turn, but it's just really bad and dumb. Bring It Down, if you don't have any things to score it on, it's physically impossible. So why does it work like that? So 2 models on the objective here. The Locust Lord only OC2, so he is being outnumbered by the 2 Custodians fighting him on the objective. So they're going to get their wound rerolls. I think it's probably going to be curtains for our poor Locust Lord here.
What's your toughness?
6.
3 mortals and 2 saves.
Okay. 4 up.
He dies.
He dies. I'll just spend a CP to reanimate him. That's why not. There's no reason not to.
Okay. And then how does the TacticalTortoise fight on death work?
They don't fight on death.
At the start of the fight, or the self-destruction. It's at the start of the fight phase, so
It is no longer the start of the fight phase.
go ahead and touch him. Just to get
Yep.
him to the point.
The Locust Lord is still there, right? He'll prevent the consolidation.
I think oh, you're right. He immediately reanimates.
Oh, you mean
I don't
reanimates? Okay.
think he can he reanimates in melee too. Sorry. He's at half wounds, so he should be at 3, which the coding is still broken. Excellent.
I think we'll do his little shock attacks.
It's a pretty bizarre stratagem, the reanimation stratagem for Necrons. It actually just respawns the character immediately after the attack that killed it. So one thing that can happen potentially is that your character dies halfway through an attack sequence and then just flips back up, stands back up, and immediately gets punched by the next guy in the unit to go and kills him.
I could not base as he was 5/7 away. They'll base now. 10 attacks for the first squad.
Comes the fight on the Immortals.
4 die. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll just spend a CP to reanimate.
Ooh, we're gonna try. We're fighting tooth and nail to hold this objective, chat. Please, sir, please.
My reanimation rolls of 1.
Please let me get my guys back. Let my people go. Reanimator out of range again. Yeah, it is a little bit unfortunate. Necrons do start sort of falling apart once they are out of that reanimator aura. And that is unfortunate, where only 4 Immortals need to survive Tanalaris Custodian's attacks, and yeah, full conversion with that exploding 6s is a little bit sad. Here comes the swing with the Overlord and Oracan. Looks like their entire bodyguard unit has been destroyed. The Lich Guard were just picked apart by the Custodian Wardens. Now going back into the Custodian Wardens. See if we can do any damage.
And one's on
kick
1.
A guy down on 1. So take this guy. Right, take the guy next to Vexilla down to 1. And that's all your fight, I guess.
Transcendent Catan gets 8 attacks. On 2s, exploding 6s. Hey, I'll take some explosions. And he's strength 8, so 5s to wound. 3 saves at -3.
Okay, just D6.
Yeah, cool. Take 4. You can pass the turn to me whenever you feel like it. Okay. I control.
At the end of the turn,
no points. Oh, sorry. I have to fight the
How would
he gets 4 attacks.
the Protocol of the Eternal Guardians interact with the fact that the character resurrects outside engagement range? Yeah, it's already been assigned as a target of attacks. So any attacks that haven't yet been resolved, that are still sort of waiting on the stack in the sequence, will then resolve against the character again, because he's still there.
Of course, I don't roll.
It doesn't matter if you're still in engagement range. When you go to roll your attacks, all you need to do is be in engagement range when you go to target. Otherwise, when you pull models out of engagement range, you would become ineligible to be attacked. So it looks like, yeah, capture enemy output scores out for Salad, and he has binned his deploy teleport homers. Not deploy teleport homers, his investigate signals. So not going to be trying to complete that one this game. Deploy teleport homers out for the Necrons. A little bit tough since the Transcendent Catan is their #1 action performer, and that poor guy is locked in combat right now. We'll see if we can get a unit into the center potentially to perform that, but it could be tough.
There's that 1 again.
one wound coming back for the Overlord. Is that true? We don't have the reanimator there?
Yeah. I have rolled 5 1s on my D3 so far. Scarab Swarm heals 2D. Oh, sorry, he heals 2D3.
This one's looking a little bit over, unfortunately, chat.
Yeah, I didn't roll another 1.
Custodes just marching forward. The onwards march of the Custodian Guard cannot be stopped even by these Lich Guard bricks.
2, and I get 1 back on 2.
A little bit of a tough one. And this is with Raze taking the first turn, scoring a 0 primary this turn, so I don't believe that is in the cards for him to catch up. even if he can take a bunch of objectives and score 25 in the rest of the game, he's not going to be up by that much, since we're probably going to be getting a 10 this coming turn. Yeah, I don't know, chat. Are we in Gambit mode, maybe? This would be the time to Gambit, but the declaration step has already passed.
Just make it so you have no cover.
Hot take, Tactical Secondary is one of the worst additions to 10th edition. That is a hot take.
Cool.
Incredibly hot. That's scalding, I'm going to be honest.
Coherency. Yeah, cool.
I think like every mission format that 40k has had, they don't survive unscathed in contact with the player base. And I think what we're doing is that we're getting to the point where the player base is enough games, and more games of 40k at this point, of 10th edition 40k, have been played by the community, and were probably played by the community very quickly after the edition was first previewed, than were ever played in playtesting. So we are running into the rough edges that playtesting didn't really iron out. What we may see is, because obviously in tournament companion updates, and especially since we have a new USO event coming up, I think next month or a month and a half, maybe. The design team has been open to making changes to the card text in tournament companion updates, and what we could see is some of these tactical secondaries updated in the next update. I think that. I imagine that the design team's aware of these problems, and some of the ways they could smooth the randomness of the deck. I do think that the deck having powerful draws in it does make for swingier gameplays, and having the deploy teleport homer sort of be able to be saved for late game, or potentially saved for late game, is really good. I would love some shuffle back in mechanics, even ones that are under player control. I think that would be good, but for the most part. Right now, we're playing on the sort of the beta version. Obviously, we are in Index Hammer with the first version of the Pro format ever, and I imagine you give it an iteration or two, and tactical objectives will be very good. Right now, I just think that they're pretty good.
Get them, heavy destroyers.
Oh, we're going all in over here.
Might be enough.
Picked up one Alaris Custodian unit with the Immortals and the Heavies. Go get it, boys. An 8-inch charge did get them into range. That's great.
Immortals will charge.
Very nice.
Get them, destroy Immortals. 6, plenty. Let's try and maximize the number. 3.2, 2.3, 3.2 is 5.5, so half an inch. So he's just gonna go half an inch and base on the back side. 4 and base.
Chat.
6 and base.
Games Workshop errata's whole codexes all the time, and that is a much more expensive piece of printed material than a little index card. So I think that we could see changes to the card deck in the future. They've already done it. I don't think it's a stretch to say that we'll see updates to the card format. I think that would be a little silly.
I've determined that Custodes are just the new Death Guard, but they're better in melee, which is really cool.
Custodes are the new Death Guard. That's not incorrect. They are basically Death Guard. They play the same way. You just want to get in the middle and stand there for a while. It is a little bit sad comparing Death Guard to Custodian Guard, because like they want the play styles to be similar, but man, is it different. Oh my god. Imagine if we had a Death Guard that played like this army. That'd be insane.
I guess just stand on point for the hell of it.
I guess, yeah, it's also even worse, chat, given the index card thing, because the index cards were already outdated upon release. They weren't even, like, not even in an interesting way. They were outdated because they were misprinted. It's just kind of an indictment of the printed material, honestly.
Sure. Would you like to declare something at the start of the fight phase?
Do you prefer faction indexes or faction codexes?
Okay, so I'm I'm going to
Um,
Scarab Swarm and on a 2-up.
How do you mean, chat?
Mortal wounds.
Like, do I prefer? Would I rather everyone have indexes, or rather everyone have codexes, or do I prefer the gameplay with indexes versus codexes? Codexes are deeper, right? And I would prefer that factions have more going on with them. I think that's better.
I'll take it.
But I think
Use OC2.
I don't know. So I
think
guess
Warhammer's
codexes.
one. Yeah. Okay. So
Blade champion.
defender
Fight.
chooses.
We're gonna do exploding sixes.
Sure.
Blade champion can go fight.
What
Who's gonna do
mode are you
Victus?
using? Victus? Okay. And a forced wound.
Bye.
I die.
Oh my
Woo.
god.
He's gonna
Just a
hit.
casual 3 devastating wounds from the Blade Champion. No big deal. Just cuts that guy in half. This Blade Wizard has been performing his magic tricks too much this game, chat.
Try and chip some wounds off with these immortal
Too
wounds.
hard.
Uh,
Codexif has nicer pictures, so that's a plus. Yeah, it's that's fair.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Do I want to spend a CP for +1 strength and +1 AP? That's actually relevant. So we're gonna spend the 1 CP. Just the AP. So there's 3, 6 of them,
14.
7 of them,
Or
14 attacks.
7. Yeah.
On 3s, wait. They
On
don't get
3s.
AP because they're not being led, so there's no point in using the strat.
Okay.
3s, and then 5s. Rerolling.
Is that shooting only? Or
Nope.
or not?
It's every attack. 4 saves,
4?
no minus. Yep. Take a
Take
wound.
damage.
Get fucked.
Pound.
I think it's 4 attacks from the heavy destroyers. They're 2 each. Yep. 4s. Sorry, 3s. And then 5s. 2 saves, no minus. Take another wound. Shocker.
Alrighty,
Over
we'll
here,
fight-
no
we'll
more
fight with-
fights.
I guess Orkin can fight if he wants to pile in.
Don't think it matters.
Good fight first.
Sure, why not? Let's touch you. Give you the bad touch. He'll get his 2 swings on 3s. And winning on a 5. Nope. Okay.
Fight with Trajan.
Sure.
Ace.
Oh, he should be at full wounds. I'm not sure how he's at 2.
Is that down to
4.
3?
I don't know how he took any damage. He hasn't been fought yet. He healed to full.
I fought him last turn.
And then he healed during your... Yeah. He healed during the start of my turn. This is my turn.
Yeah, he was down to 3.
We call Custodes the most
Mr.
balanced
Warhammer
army in the game.
Okay.
Trajan will
I don't know about that.
pile into their
If you compare them to the vast majority of armies, they are much better.
Sure.
They aren't like an auto win, but
Trajan will
I don't think it's that hard to play them,
Okay.
to be fair.
Sure.
There's a lot of sort of first order
6 wins.
strategies that you can do where you just march forward and
Take 6 and
roll
die.
dice at your opponent and win
0
fairly
CP,
easily.
reanimate him. He comes back at...
I do think out of the factions at the top, I do think Custodes would take the least work to balance, because I think it's entirely an
The
efficiency thing.
Custodians still get to fight.
Custodes feel like they have like 1 to 200 points more than you, and
Rewarded.
that slowly pushes you
Because he
over,
pops
basically.
down and comes back
A lot of times you run into the situation where there's like 1 more unit of Custodes left than you can deal with, and you're like, why is that unit there? I can't deal with that. So I think Custodes could be entirely...
Damn, he died. Crazy.
Any potential imbalance with Custodes could be
Noodle
entirely
out
fixed
oil,
with
get his
a
eight
little bit of
attacks.
points. And not even dramatic points.
On 2s.
Maybe even a
No
change to
attacks on
Caladius grab tanks and
5s.
some of the bigger
3
vehicles and
saves.
stuff.
I probably die.
-3. Who fucking cares?
Nope.
Nope.
And you could also shore that up
Another
by
D6. Take another 4.
repairing the points in some of the
Mhm.
units in the faction that are unfortunate.
I mean, at this point, I just expect it.
The Dreadnoughts and the Virtus Praetors are really bad. It's really just the infantry that's sort of carrying them. And I would like to see the balance be updated a little bit better for them. Meanwhile, Eldar are playing an onslaught game in a Strike Force. Yeah, so I think, I mean, unless literal miracles happen on this table, I don't think that the 15 or so... Oh, nope, just kidding. That number's dwindling quickly. The 13 or
That's
so.
my turn.
14.
I
14.
get.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
We
6,
got
7,
3
8,
for
9,
overwhelming,
10,
of course. Guess
13.
we'll
Yeah,
just
14
ditch
models
cohort homers
on the
for
Necron side are going to be able to beat basically an
Go
equivalent
ahead.
number of Custodian Guard, who are basically four times as powerful as they are. So I think Salad is going to be taking this down, and it does beg the question how well they will do into Eldar. Does the Wraith Knight have their number? They do have a 4+, feel no pain against Devastating Wounds, and that does make Devastating Wounds still good against them because, again, it's able to spill over damage, so it's still incredibly useful, but it's not quite the same level of power as it is in other matchups. The downside, I think, too, is that the Eldar do have a lot of Night Spinners, which can slow these Custodian down. But if they make hefty use of their reserve mechanics and advancing and deep striking and charging and controlling the board like that, I think they can come out victorious.
Let me measure something. I was 6. Is that what's better? A 6 and
Just don't roll ones. You'll definitely win with Custodes. Easy. That is an easy game plan.
Like 4-inch charge.
Mm.
I'd rather have the extra guy. Do I need a stratagem? Anywhere else? The answer is just no, because I'll just fight you. I'm trying to reanimate a guy. Wardens.
Rapid ingress could be key. Yeah. Rapid ingress, to be fair, is probably key in every game, if I were to guess. Chat. Putting a Custodian back into the unit here.
Sorry, these guys?
Oh, where are they coming from?
Wardens.
Oh, those guys. Okay. Must be within 2 of 2. Yep.
That should be 4 inches.
And this is what we were talking about earlier, where you can extend your
really
movement
don't
with
think
that unit effectively. You can put a model 2 inches out from where the rest of the unit is standing, and then use that as your
Good one on point.
charge target up in the front here, or your charging unit, your charging
I
model,
hope you're right.
your first charge mover, I guess.
I'm only down by 15.
Custodes win in the finals. I would not put it past Mr. Salad here. Slightly disappointing. Salad has come back from tougher games than playing against an Eldar Gunline with Adeptus Custodes. And if this guy is as good in his next game as at rolling 9-inch or 10-inch charges as he has been in the past, then he is going to go far.
Just continue rolling 80%.
4+ saves are easy. 3+ saves lose a whole unit. That was my experience in my tournament today, chat. I played 2 Space Marine players twice, and every time they would fire and hit my invulnerable save, I would pass all the saves. And every time they would fire a stubber and hit me with a 3+ save, I would fail. It was insane. I was taking significantly more damage, 2 or 3 times more damage from stubbers and stormbolters than I was from actual laser destroyers and las cannons and things. Pretty nuts.
Yep, if he shoots a monster or vehicle, it's lethal.
4 ups. Alright, full damage.
Can we get a 7? If we have 5 up? Hey,
Sure.
4 damage.
Take 4.
Sorry.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Take 1. Again.
Team gun. It's 3 hits. No wounds. The Terminators will shoot Orcon.
Sure.
Only 4 guys. So here's
It should be 3, right? Because he can't see.
the sergeant.
Oh,
The
I mean
captain,
the
sorry.
shield captain.
Yeah,
He's T4.
I know.
Cool.
After rolling.
4 ups. Pretty sure. Sure, he
guys.
takes 2.
The 2
okay.
each.
Sure, why the fuck not? I'll just reanimate him. He comes back on 2. Because why not?
Continue shooting or not?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Why not? It doesn't matter.
That's 46.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Damn, he's dead again. Crazy.
Alright. Charges Trojan to Mortals, the Trojan squad.
Sure.
I think that was a good choice to revive a guy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the Phantasm and the Custodes can drop a bunch of Deep Strikers, yeah. You can only Phantasm one thing, and these Custodes could be dropping like 4 or 5 units down with Deep Strikes every turn. So
Sure.
we could run into a situation where Salah just rolls a ton of 9-inch charges and flips the game on its head. Who knows? That's the crazy thing about Custodes. If you roll big charges, then you're doing well. And I think Salah's charge dice have been on point this game. We'll see if he can continue that in the next game. It's gonna be an exciting one, chat. I'm just excited to watch that one. I haven't watched much Custodes versus Eldar. I'm not really sure how that matchup goes. It definitely feels like Custodes potentially have the survivability to get through. We did see that happen on Monday.
Go like that. Anywhere else? So you got 3 guys and Shield Captain, which is 24 attacks.
Okay, cool.
Root -1 to hit this turn.
Sounds fine. It's D6, so it's probably still 3s. Yep. They reroll against monsters, I assume?
Yeah.
Cool.
Monsters, characters, and vehicles.
So, saving on 5-ups.
5s.
I
Uh-oh.
fucking...
You failed 10.
I did not grab the roll dice. Here we go. So these go away. These double. I don't know why I copied all your dudes. 4-ups. Oh, crazy. It died. Crazy. Cool.
Trojan squad.
Goodbye, Reanimator. Not often we get to see a Reanimator killed on stream. That's exciting. Although we did see it against Gene Stealer Cult, right? That guy went down to demolition charges. Not very rare that happens.
Cool.
One guy has Eldar at your RTT, not bringing a Wraith Knight. Should you be scared? It depends on what he's taking. I think you can play Eldar in like a interesting and kind of fair way. If you are focusing on some of the more interesting stuff. I do think Eldar without a Wraith Knight is definitely better than most factions of the game. It just doesn't, it's not quite the same against the sort of real dumb, GSC stuff and style of armies. It's like big hit on the Immortals here. So we are down Oracan, we're down the Reanimator. Yeah, it's literally a Scarab Swarm, and then these Immortals remaining. Raze fighting the good fight to score his points, but well, I think the writing's off the wall. It's sort of been imbued with a dark occult sentience, where it now kind of whispers in the minds of men, sends them to madness.
Unfortunate.
Guess they stay there. I swear I measured that out.
Alright, I'll fight with these Immortals. Hopefully I pick up the wounded Custode. Probably doesn't happen, but I'll try. I think there's 6 of them left. 1, 2, 3, so 12 attacks. 12 attacks on 3s.
Because you're -1 to hit.
Sure. Cool. 5s. Rerolling.
Flab.
Make a save. You're fine. Go ahead.
Dude. Nothing.
Okay, Catan will swing 8 attacks.
3s.
On 2, yeah, 3s, because, wait, 2s.
The tanks know karate, you fool. It's -1.
They have martial katas?
They do, they know karate.
Why?
It is
true.
Alright,
whatever. 5s. 3 saves, again. I'm ready to make 66% of them. I'm not as good
probably
as you're
damage.
rolling. I'm not as good as you are rolling damage or saves. Take 4
I died
exactly.
exactly.
You explode.
Hey,
Okay.
Catan knocking out a Caladius Grav Tank. That's something.
We
We're getting there.
consolidate a little bit.
That doesn't mean the Razes is on the
And then
is
you
on the
get-
scoreboard, I guess. You can score 5 points this coming turn. Let's go. I see a fan-made kit bash of Dark Mechanicum from Tabletop Tactics. I have seen Dark Mechanicum armies in the past, sort of generically.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And they're very
A
cool.
lot of melee.
I know there's a couple ones that
Cool.
there's a file of STLs out there that is meant for Tyranids. It's very Dark Mechanicum themed. Oh, it's a sort of mechanized Tyranids. They're all like demon engines. They look like Forged Fiends and stuff, but that's very recognizable as Tyranids, the same size. Very cool.
Oh wait, no, I get an auto 5 when bring it down, right? No, it's not. Like
Bring it down in area denial. Yeah, this is the sad bring it down score, chat. Bring it down with nothing on the table. No monsters on the table. You cannot score it.
I guess we.
So it just lives there.
Into the center.
Here comes the Transcendent Catan. Pushes in the middle to get area denial.
This turn
Full 1. I don't fucking know.
You went first.
Yeah, it should be turn 5 because Raze didn't score anything last turn.
Reanimate D3 Immortals. Can I roll a 3?
Oh, the Immortals did survive.
No.
Only one comes back now, so not going to be taking the objective away to score this nice 10. Unfortunate, and I think it's up to Salad, mostly just to sit there and score. He'll pull his tacticals, score 10 at the start, and then sit there and score 15. Just put a bunch of models on objectives.
2. Or more than 1. Yeah, alright. And that's it. Go ahead. I guess I get area denial for 5. And this one gets tossed for another CP, not like it matters.
Raze is trying to get to that 10 CP auto win strat. You know? He's close. He's not going to get there. He's came close, though. Just needed to stop reactively reanimating everything.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, and then here comes the score for Custodes. They have overwhelming force, so it requires them to kill a unit on objective. Easy peasy, kill the Canopic Scarab Swarm. Let's go. And area denials have to get to the middle. It is possible, yeah, if they just charge and put everything into the center of like one of these units, they could score the 3, I believe, because the Catan charge is not wholly within 3 of the middle.
Excellent. My OC0 unit.
Oh, I scored 10.
I already gave
It's a meme on the channel, chat. If you have 10 CP, you can spend it to win the game. At least it feels that way sometimes because people save their CP for frivolous kind of things, I think. See players with like 7 or 8 CP at the end of the game. Like, what are you doing? Probably could have used that on some stratagems. Some rerolls. Definitely, they say, like, don't command point reroll individual attacks and stuff like that. And that's generally true. You shouldn't do that. But there are situations, especially with tactical objectives, where you're just pulling garbage. Or your army's in a bad position, you're just getting slaughtered. Just start rerolling attack rolls to CP if you have a bunch of it left. Make sure that you consider what else you need to do in that phase, and you don't like overspend yourself, obviously. But if you're like, oh no, my tank missed his shot, but I have 4 CP left, and I only need 1 my opponent's coming turn, might as well reroll that shot.
4. They're dead because you don't have cover. Oh, no, you do.
Cool.
You definitely have cover. You want to roll it?
They're dead.
Dead.
Crazy.
Go figure.
All right, I have cover because these 2 can't see.
Yeah. The Wardens into the Catan is 3 plus 5 plus Trajan.
Cool.
The 5. Just 1.
4 up.
Trajan. Butcher.
It's like a moral victory if you're able to kill a Transcendent Catan, right?
Terminators will shoot.
Are we just gonna try for the lulz? Can we also talk about how well these Immortals have held on this objective? It's been crazy.
4 up.
You don't expect this unit to go into like 4 Alaris Custodians and actually hold their own, but holy crap, did they do it? They've also half killed an Alaris Custodian. I think the Immortals together probably killed 2 total Alaris Custodians for the damage they put out.
Rolled a dice, but I'm just gonna roll again.
Be cool if Inquisitors for 10 CP could do Exterminatus. Yeah, that would be sweet.
One fails.
I would like to see some more stratagems like that. I don't know.
3-ups
I guess
actually
the problem is that like the CP economy is so tight right now.
DP to reanimate.
But having like a
2 dudes come back. Oh boy.
we react to reanimate, lose 1 guy to a shot, and get 2 back. How hilarious! Just increase the size of our unit by 50%. But I would like to see, I don't know, some like orbital strikes and interesting stuff like that that you could use more generically. Kind of fluffy stuff. Like there are those situations where you run into a situation where you're like, wow, my monster's attacking you, and beyond CP rerolling an attack roll, I have literally nothing to buff my offense here. And if you could like nuke the unit that you were charging or something for a bunch of CP, you could be like, well, I could make my attack better. Four CP strat for Inquisition in 8th ed. Yeah, I mean, orbital bombardments were nuts in 8th edition. They were insane. You could, upon release with Space Marines, you could build a list that orbitally bombarded like 12 times or something. There was there was an impulsor upgrade that did it. It was like the orbital uplink or comms array relay or whatever the communications array on the top of the impulsor is. That just gave you an orbital bombardment. There was a Rhino that did it. The Damocles Command Rhino, I think. Or was it the Primaris Rhino? I forget. Either one. Not Primaris like Primaris Space Marine. They had the first Primaris Space Marine unit was a Rhino from Forge World that had a communications array on top of it. And one of those 2 gave you orbital bombardments. And then Imperial Fists had a Warlord trait that gave you an orbital bombardment. And then you had the strat as well. So you would use it and you would plop like 6 orbital bombardments in your opponent's deployment zone on the first turn. It wasn't like that good because you had to put so much effort into getting these like garbage ass units that did it. But you could splash it into an Imperial Fist list who were pretty strong otherwise. And it was pretty sweet.
Almost.
Yeah.
But no.
So close. Close, but no Sakai. Start of the phase, Wardens will pop the Funeral Pain.
Sure.
Finally getting the 4+ Funeral Pain out of Wardens. Oh my god. You know this game was one-sided when the Wardens used their 4+ on the bottom of round 5. Oh no.
Sure.
Would have needed it earlier if we hadn't made those charges into Lich Guard. That was not, or into the Locust Destroyers, excuse me. That was a huge swing. That was such a big swing.
Sure.
I think part of it is maybe Raze got overconfident a little bit fighting the Blade Champion and allowed the Ceaseless Hunter to get him a little bit. If he had used his Tomb Blades to screen for 1 more turn, he could potentially have prevented that from happening, but it is tough.
4-ups.
Imperial Fist good, must have been ancient times. Yeah.
4-ups. I take 2.
Yeah, I played Imperial Fist actually for a while in like 2019, 2020 maybe. They were good to the point of being sort of degenerate because the entire army ignored cover and got +1 heavy weapons got +1 damage against vehicles.
Cool.
So as long as your opponent wasn't running monsters as their armor, like your Thunderfire cannons were multi-damage against vehicles.
Sure.
And they were like strength 5 AP2 back then. And there were no indirect fire penalties, so they just put everything on like 5-up saves.
Great. I take 8.
It was really gross.
Cool. I'll spend 2 CP and interrupt.
Transcending gets on take 4 damage. All right, here we go.
Right.
And are we trying to see if we can kill an Alaris Custodian and survive?
Maybe I do kill a Terminator.
Live.
3s. All right. 5s. Rerolling. 4
Necron list running Catons. That's a list.
Just take 1. Too bad.
Yeah, I mean, you could take
Would have been cool.
6, right?
Hopefully I kill you. I really like
Yeah, didn't. Left 1 Alaris on 1. Yeah, if they killed it, they would have halved the incoming attacks here. And it would have been a non-zero chance that the Immortals survive. Gonna slow roll here to try to win and get another point scored. Only 1 guy's dead.
Guy dies.
Another guy's dead. Down to the last immortal. Oh, he lives. Are you kidding me?
The unit.
Yep.
Pouring one out for the Thunderfire. Yeah.
Nope, only 2 come back. So 2 die and then 2 pop back up. Nothing changes. Sad.
So
Catan charge.
the immortals hold down the objective.
8
These
attacks
guys are
hitting on
really putting in the
3s
work
now,
over
'cause
here.
he's got -1 to hit. Because he's bracketed. They bracket, right?
They do.
Pretty sure they bracket.
Right.
I have the
Maybe
card. They don't bracket.
They do not.
Cool.
So 2s.
2s and exploding 6s. No 6s as expected. And 3s.
-1 to wound, so.
Cool. 2 saves. Very powerful. And you make
no
wealth.
damage.
Excellent. Yeah.
So that was 4. 15 at the end of the game.
Yeah, the infantry slowing effect of the Thunderfire is big.
Score, dick.
It
Good game.
especially against armies like these
You
two,
rolled
it
good.
is
I did
super
roll
duper strong. And that looks like is the game. Chat 93-47 is the final score. Congratulations to Salad for taking it down. If anybody has any questions for the players, go ahead and throw them in the chat there.
Your well-deserved punishment, where you will make none of your charges now.
Underestimate my power.
Yeah, I would never put.
All the
I would
deep
never
strike.
count Salad out of making charges. That man. He's got the
Every
juice.
charge.
He's got the goods.
I was expecting 1 charge down here. Wasn't expecting 2.
Oh yeah, that was nuts.
Very cool.
Absolutely.
I was expecting to kill this tank on turn 1, not turn 3. I was expecting to get shot by both tanks and actually not lose the unit, because with cover I don't lose the unit on mathematical dice, but I didn't roll any 5-ups. Anything else that didn't go according to plan? I rolled okay on the Overwatch.
Had some good saves at one point and then canceled.
This unit doesn't die to a single unit of custodians, but it died. Cool.
It did die to 3 of them.
Yep.
Yeah.
So my dice did not cooperate. I lost everything.
Yeah,
it was real cool.
The biggest bad thing was just these tanks, just refusing to die, just flat out refusal.
So I'm supposed to kill this tank turn 1, and then these guys can swing around here and have access to the whole field for like turns 2 and 3. That didn't happen. I really didn't want to bring the Lichbard brick out, but I didn't have a choice. Yeah, I think I rolled good on invos for Crypto Thralls, and that's about it. Everything else was really bad.
Also, these immortals up top. These guys just hang out.
Yeah, I mean, like a unit, 2 custodians don't kill a brick of 10 immortals.
Yeah, as Chad is saying, the immortals proved their name. They just chilled for a bit.
There's a reason they're bringing a unit of 10 of them. They're fairly resilient to medium to low strength shooting. You just put them on a point, and like in theory, they can do some damage. I've seen them inflict wounds. It has happened before.
They killed it one turn.
I shot you 40 times and you failed like 3 saves.
Well, most of those are punches.
Their rerolls to wound were pretty bad. Like my 5-ups to wound with them was not good. I did like 4 or 5 wounds. I think I did like 8 wounds once. It was not good. Well, it is what it is.
Yeah. Chad Salad does have wardens in his list.
There
are wardens there. Right. Yep. Was a question for you, Raze. Why no Doomsday Arcs?
Doomsday Arcs are terrible. Their gun is excellent. Moving the model itself around is very bad.
That is true. They are a very slow platform for that gun. Definitely.
Yes, because they changed the way fly works, Doomsday Arcs are very hard to maneuver around the table because they're 8 or 10 inches long.
Yeah.
Their footprint is like 19 inches, so I don't know, is it like 21 inches? Fuck.
Yeah, they're
deep strike denials.
If they're not triggering devastating wounds, it's like they bleed you a CP every time they move because you have to do advance and shoot. And even then, it's like a coin flip that they actually get a shot.
They're just not worth bringing.
Yeah.
I like the Locust Destroyers better. Just because they're smaller, they're less committal, they're more durable. Like they come back. As you saw, like 3 of these against the high output. Okay, I rolled like crap, so it's not a great illustration of their durability. But like you can lose 2 of them. Most of the time, anti-tank shots are like 2. 2 or 3, so you could lose 2 of them, and then you'll have 1 left over, which you can regenerate over
Right.
time. Yeah, yep. Just
Do you like the larger units rather than reanimating, or to reanimate them rather than having like the smaller units for sort of target saturation?
Yeah, I like having a unit that can take a hit, so like it makes splitting fire difficult.
Yeah.
Because you have to commit in order to wipe the unit out, because a destroyer brick that lives on 1 guy is going to come back to full strength in a turn or 2.
Basically just a full unit of guys. Yeah.
This is just, you made the charges. You just had the dice.
Yep.
There's not much I can do about it.
What do you think about the Silent King? Drew's asking.
I need the Silent King's Minears to stop being characters. Then I will actually play it. Because your opponent, like, if you Necrons already bring a lot of characters, but if you bring the Silent King, your opponent just locks Assassinate in and farms Assassinate off of the Minears, because they come back every turn. You don't need to kill the Silent King. You just kill his Minears like 4 times, and you max Assassinate for free.
Right.
He's also a little bit overpriced at like 400 plus points. It's a little bit too expensive for what he does. He's great because he gives an aura of reroll 1s, which is really nice. As one of his auras, he can like reroll 1s to hits or something else. Let's go to page 7. It might be the last entry.
He gives you reroll 1s to hit and wound with guns, reroll charges, or ignore modifiers and test moral modifiers.
So you
he's
take reroll 1.
Super Primarch.
He can turn off his penalty for indirect by turning on the ignore modifiers. Or you can usually just go reroll 1s to hit, which is nice if you don't want to commit too heavily on taking characters for all your bricks.
Yeah.
I think if I was gonna bring him, it would be like a swap for the Lich Guard, like points wise, and I think the Lich Guard are just more useful, unfortunately, because he's actually not that good in melee with only 12 attacks.
Yeah, it kind of means, I don't know. You have to design a list around Violent King, I think, and that's pretty hard now because he's so expensive.
I've done it. Like, he's unironically very good with monoliths because you can give them reroll 1s, and then you plop down a hex mark with a crown, so you're hitting on 2s, rerolling 1s to hit, which is very nice. But it's just not good. Fortunately, he's just not good. It sucks. I really like this model. I think he's really fun, but he just doesn't have as much output as you'd like for his cost.
Yeah. You definitely see the overpriced. I think like say 400 points.
I think going first was fine in the matchup because it got me the first shot at the tank. Not killing the tank basically made me go second, which was real bad, especially in terms of scoring. Just not good. I think the cover rules are really borked in 10th. They're very, very strange. Which is like a stealth buff to everything with a 2-up armor save is just very powerful. Custodes probably got to go up. Their points cost needs to go up, unfortunately, because they just do way too much for their cost. Well, if there's any other questions, I can answer them.
Yeah, Nova asking if you would run 2 reanimators in this list.
Well, for most of the game, I had the reanimator on the things I wanted it to be on. Generally speaking, there's going to be a space to post one. It's kind of not worth running 2 because their coverage is really good. I don't think so. The only point of this list, part of this list that's really got play right now, is the Locust Destroyer brick, which I really like into some matchups. They're basically effective against all targets, just because the 5-up lethals is very strong. But they are a bit on the expensive side, which is unfortunate. But the problem is, I don't really have anything better to bring than them.
Yeah. Let's see. Salad, do you think you would put the Calidus Assassin tech in your list?
Well, if I have more time, I kind of on Monday before this review, I kind of wanted to play a game Caldas, see how that would go. I didn't have time.
Yeah.
So I decided not to play with it because I'm just not used to it. I'm just kind of playing with Caldas. I'd probably just take out a 2-man
Right.
and just like replace it with Caldas and then find
Yeah.
somewhere for 15 points.
Kind of serves the same function. You get the Vect effect, and then
Mm-hmm.
it does
Yeah.
some secondaries, just like those guys usually do.
Yeah. It doesn't do as much damage, but it's fine. I'd probably replace it. That's
Yeah.
probably the right call.
Yeah. Yeah, they're pretty good. Those little Calidus Assassins.
Yeah. It's definitely good to Eldar. I'm gonna regret not bringing it into Eldar.
Yeah.
I'm just dreading that.
TiVo asking Raze if you'll play Space Marines next season.
No, I might actually just take the season off. I really, really don't like the random secondaries in 10th. I don't, Trevi, I know you're a big proponent of like mobility being king. I think it just turns off too many play styles to make that much of a reward for you have to be mobile, you have to have models that can move around the table and do stuff. I think it funnels the list design in too narrow of a corridor, which is kind of ironic.
Yeah, I think the sort of problematic portion, the parasitic portion of it, is that I think that there are factions that don't have the answers to be able to bring those. I don't think that Necrons are one of those, to be fair, but I do think that there are factions that do suffer because of the tactical secondaries and need a wider roster in order to compete. And hopefully we see those when codexes start dropping. You know, we start to see like Death Guard with faster stuff or with redeploys or something. But you know, we'll see.
Yeah, no, I was very happy with the Necrons. Like they got a forward deploying unit, which they've never had before.
Forward deploys and scouts, amazing. Multiple forward operators, kind of crazy. Yeah,
it's really good. They got opened up a lot on the mobility, which is very fun.
Yeah, yeah. Same for Tyranids. You get a ton more forward deploy stuff, which is fun.
Just imagine if Gene Stealers could move 42 inches in a turn like they used to.
Oh, then wouldn't even need forward deploy at that point.
Yeah, no.
Put me in, coach. Let's go.
Crazy.
I remember those days.
I do too.
Me too.
I do not want to go back. Oh my
gosh. I do.
Someone with a scoreboard. It's like nightmare fuel.
Oh my god. Yeah. Everybody, go watch. I have a video on the just search Dimacron in the search bar on the YouTube channel and watch that video. And it's glorious. It's glorious what 8th edition Tyranids can do. Question for Raze: what do you think about running 2 units of Lich Guard in a list?
You can absolutely do it. It's a little bit harder. Basically, you want to do one like this, and you want to do Nemesis Vandrek in a different one. Probably, you might bring his buddy. You might not. You could do Vandrek with Sword and Board, and then you do Oricon with an Overlord and the other one.
Yeah,
which is pretty nice. It gets you a bunch of forward deploy, bunch of forward presence. You'll probably want to take played ones to push out the screening, which is nice. It's a little bit on the slow side, but it is very good. It gives your opponent 2 bricks to shoot at rather than just 1.
Yeah.
You do lose a lot of points, so you're probably not going to have as much anti-tank. Probably, again, just take the cheap option like I do with heavy destroyers. It's solid, and it benefits you on some of the missions where the number of objectives in the middle like mysteriously disappears over the course of a game. But some missions, the points are going to be too spread too far apart, and you will suffer because of the lack of mobility.
Yeah, there are some hard counters to that list because it does lack mobility. Anything with movement speed reduction gets really tough. But if you can dodge that stuff, or you can sort of focus your other other units on the faster guys. With Veil of Darkness or with the Tomb Blades. I think it definitely helps. And I believe, let me double check here, chat, but I believe that next week we'll actually have one of those lists in a T5S2 finals over on that purple channel.
Well, let's go.
Yeah, I think that there is an undefeated Necron list going into round 4, which is exciting and cool.
Yeah, that'll be exciting.
Yeah, that is pod 4. What's going to be Necrons versus White Scars. The semifinals round hasn't completed yet, but yeah, it is a double Lich Guard. Oh, just kidding. No, I lied to you, chat. It's a single Lich Guard list, but there are triple Tomb Blades. That should be a fun game. That should be fun.
I do have homework for people at home. I need you to go back and calculate the save percentage on his Grav tank this game. Just put it in the comments.
I'm fairly certain it's more than 50%.
It's probably 60. Like 70. Yeah.
No.
60 or 70.
It's like a solid 60.
They just secretly have a 3-up invulnerable save, not a 5-up.
Yeah.
Haven't you heard that a 5-up invul is better than like a 3-up invul?
Yeah, I think a 4+ save for a Custodian is strictly better than a 3+, because a 4+ save means they make it every time, but a 3+, never. Every time it fails.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. There was a question from Chris. Salad, how many Alaris Terminators in a brick with the Shield Captain has worked best for you?
Just 5. I think 6 start to run into weird coherency, and you don't really need more than 5.
Yeah.
Do Custodes not do the whole binary state where if you bring 3, you have to pay?
Yeah, Custodes. Most of Custodes units, I think, because their characters come from the same kits. Most Custodes have like 4 different unit size options for their units. Yeah. Very
cool.
Yeah. It's pretty weird. It's pretty weird. Also, yeah, prosecutors come in units of 4, right? Like that's the weirdest one in my opinion.
That is definitely the weirdest one.
It's super strange. They dodge blast. Like, okay.
It's probably
one more for Raze from Nova. Have you thought about making a list with Illuminor, Ceres, and a bunch of warriors?
I have considered it. Unfortunately, I think Warriors run into the same problem that they did in 9th edition, which is their output is just dog water, unfortunately. They're just not good. So you will be walking forward. You will be suffering greatly from blast. Like 1 unit of Devastation Marines will probably pick up a brick a turn. But if Ceres did not cost more than 200 points, I would actually consider bringing him just above the Immortals, because that is a significant durability increase and damage output increase on the models.
Yeah,
he's absolutely worth it.
Do you think you would wombo combo if the cost was right, if the price was right? That seems like the list that would also have Silent King, right? Because if you have a bunch of warrior units, giving them all rerolls would be huge.
Yep, you'd put would I bring Immortals instead of Warriors? I'd probably bring Immortals instead of Warriors just for the pseudo 2-up armor save from via damage or armor penetration reduction, and guy with a crown hitting on 2s, rerolling 1s, full rerolls to wound against guys and objectives. You just melt stuff.
Toughness 5 is kind of a breakpoint too. Seems like there's a reasonable amount of like strength 4 small arms, like in blast, like those Desolation Marines you just mentioned, right? Strength 4 at blast. And so those just bounce off Immortals. Lower blast, you generate less blast too. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a solid. I think just Immortals are just straight better.
Yep.
Which is sad.
Alex asking what your thoughts on Locust Heavies with Mythic Exterminator and a Locust Lord.
It's good. They're solid. If I was going to actually mix an Mythic Exterminator, I'd bring 2 of the big guns, 1 of the small guns, just for like overwatching purposes, because you can mix these units.
Right.
And it lets you do some target selection.
Yeah.
Which is nice. I don't know.
Oop.
No, I don't think the critical on 5-up for the lethal shots on the Exterminator is worth bringing a 110-point model, unfortunately. It's also a little bit on the redundant side for the heavy guns, because you're already hitting on 2s.
Right. If that guy had a better gun, it would feel much nicer.
Yeah, I think you are flush for choice on your infantry removal options. So the Eminent Destroyer on the Locust Heavy Destroyers is probably just not worth bringing.
Right.
But if you do want to bring it, do a 2-in-1 split. So you have the one pew pew gun and you got the two big bang bang guns. You can pull either one depending on the matchup, what you're getting shot by.
Yeah, that does make sense. And then you can sort of prioritize reanimation too, whichever way you want to go. Yeah.
For sure.
Seems good. All right, guys. I'll go ahead and let you two go. Thank you so much for the game. Sally, congratulations on taking it down. I'm excited to watch your game against Zach in the grand finals.
Yep, solid. Good luck in the next round. Thanks for the game. I hope I didn't come across as too salty. You just had the dice.
I did have dice this game.
Yep.
I had dice every game.
Yep. All right.
Always dice.
Catch you later.
Cheers, guys.
Please give me good luck vibes, chat. Or give Zach bad luck. You know, that's what I need.
Yeah, that man needs to stop rolling 28 mortal wounds on everyone.
Yeah,
maybe it'll be the 0 mortal wound time.
It's like, please don't be me.
It's
like,
Oh yeah, maybe we'll do blammo shots, chat. We'll die. I would die, but I do have rum. I would.
How many night spinners does he have?
I think 2.
It's
okay. It's okay. You've got Deep Strike. What could happen?
Yeah, I'll just pick Knightedge. I'll just put everything in reserves, honestly.
Yeah. All right. Cheers, Salad. All right, chat. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to throw a shout out to our sponsors before we wrap things up. Thank you so much for jumping in at this stream. This is a fun one. I think the chat was hopping the entire time, so I really appreciate that. Yeah, congratulations to Salad. A bit of a tough break for Raze. Unfortunately, Salad, yeah, like they said, just had the dice, I think. Raze got a little bit aggressive, got punished for it. But that is how the cookie crumbles sometimes. Big shout out to Delta Studios. You can use code TACTICAL10 over there to get 10% off there. Realistic life-size props for games and universes such as Warhammer 40,000. Gamemat.eu, you can use coupon code TT10 to get 10% off mats and resin terrain, stuff like that. The Magnet Baron, you can go to themagnetbaron.com to get magnetization kits for a wide variety of 40k models, also magnet accessories and rare earth neodymium magnets themselves. And last but certainly not least, 3D6 Wargaming, where you can get laser cut accessories like counters, tokens, and of course, gorgeous neoprene objective mats, just like this one. You want to have objective mat? It looks just like this. Well, you can't get this one because this will be for the invitational winner, but you can get some similar looking ones, and that's great. Thanks, everyone. Remember to keep it classy, folks, and I will see you in the grand final. Stay tuned to the Discord for when that is being, and the website, I guess, tt4s40k.com/invitational for when that is being scheduled, and I will see you then.